Tonight we return to the location where we kicked off the 2022 season, Harris-Terry Stadium. And for the Murphy Panthers, they haven't played here in over a decade. Well, tonight they come in looking to claw themselves to victory, but the Blount Leopards will be having none of that because it's senior night, and they all want to go out as winners. It's the last regular season game of the 2022 season, and it's headed your way. Good evening, and welcome to the MCPSS High School Football Kickoff Show. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corey Bounty. Corey, these teams aren't in the playoffs, but this game matters just as much.
Absolutely so, and why does it matter for both? Because you're trying to build for the all-season, and the season starts tomorrow for a lot of these guys who aren't dual-sport athletes, Al, and when you start looking at both of these programs under first-year head coaches,
correct,
each program wants to get started early in the right direction.
They sure do. So we're here at Harris-Terry Stadium bringing you our last ball game of the season. It's been a long ride. I can't believe it started back, I believe, August 19th, Corey, and now we're wrapping it up tonight. So let's get straight to your checklist. Murphy is the visiting team. What do the Panthers need to do to get a win tonight?
Well, it's easy for the Murphy Panthers when you start talking about playing with purpose. This is your last football game that some young men will play their entire lives.
Right.
So go ahead and leave it on the field. Don't look at your record. Go out with that winning note. Control field position. It's important for Murphy not to play on a short field. They need to go ahead when it's a punting situation to get a great punt and to make sure they don't have any quick turnovers that shorten the field for the Blount Leopards. Eliminate Murphy miscues. What do I mean by that? The penalty flags and the turnovers must cease for Coach McKenzie's squad to have a chance tonight. On Blount's side, they cannot spot points. We all know Leopards have spots, but they don't want to give up any easy ones, a pick six or any type of other scores to the Murphy Panthers. When you start talking about controlling the line of scrimmage, it is the line of scrimmage Leopards that will win this game for Blount High School. And they need to make sure they clean that old dirty rag. We have Coach Gamble, who says there's that old dirty rag on the field. They need to make sure the referees help them keep that in their pocket tonight in order to secure a victory.
All right, those are your checklists for both of the teams. We'll come back and review that during halftime to see if they are doing some of the things you talked about. We don't have our third member of the crew tonight with us, Kimberly Dunn, but we're still going to give you a look at the BSN weather forecast. Corey, it is very humid here on the field, 84%, it's 69 degrees, but you just mentioned, and I agree with you, it's almost as if you could have worn shorts tonight to Harris-Terry Stadium. It's pretty humid out here tonight.
Something that you normally don't see on October 28th here in Mobile, Alabama. We know that the weather, you can get all four seasons in one day.
Correct.
But with that being said, the last couple of years, Al, late in this calendar, football-wise, we haven't had that many cold days, and cramping is something to keep an eye on this late in October.
Absolutely. So it doesn't look like weather is going to have an impact on this ball game tonight, but some players are going to have an impact. Who are your impact players that we should keep an eye on tonight, Corey?
Well, it's simple. For the Murphy Panthers, who are the visiting team tonight, you start talking about number 7, Andre Woodard. He's a senior linebacker, and he plays all over for John McKenzie as far as being active on the football. Running back, Kentrell Wheeler. He's a senior running back.
Sure is.
He is trying to approach 800 yards on the season, and because of it, Al, when he gets past the line of scrimmage, he does have another gear, and he can definitely turn those wheels into Wheeler positive yardage. For Blount, their impact players are going to start on the defensive line. Kevin Norwood is a junior defensive lineman, and he anchors that defensive line and really starts things at the line of scrimmage as far as disrupting offense for Murphy. And running back to Sean Williams. He is now a junior. We've been calling his name since he's been a freshman, and now it is the conclusion of his junior season. He's making a difference at the line of scrimmage, a very powerful runner as well.
Looking forward to seeing some great things out the young man. He's wearing number 1. Sherman Williams used to wear that number here at Blount. Said he got permission to bring it out of retirement before the season started.
Well, I tell you, we talked about that in week 0 when Blount paid Biger.
Right.
But I tell you, number 1 is going to have an outstanding game tonight. for the Blount Leopards and find those holes that he's so keen at seeing. And again, he makes a difference being the number one. He'll be the number one running back for the Blount Leopards tonight.
We started off the kickoff show telling you that playoffs are not at stake for either of these teams, but there are still some playoff positions to be determined, especially 7A, Class 7A ball. We know 6A is kind of set locally in 5A, but if you take a look at 7A Region 1, Corey, we know down here Foley, Baker, Fairhope, and MGM, first time in over 20 years they returned to the playoffs. And Baker, this is the first time, I looked this up the other day, they've been to the playoffs 3 straight years. That is something that has never happened for the Baker Hornets. So Steve Norman doing a good job out there, Corey.
Well, turning the corner, we know that Jack French got them to the playoffs for the first time in a very long time. And then you start about the consistency that Coach Norman has. Congratulations to Baker hosting a game in the first round of the playoffs.
And as you look, that's where it really comes down to for 7A Region 1. 7A Region 1 is going to play 7A Region 2. And right now it looks like Central Phoenix City or Auburn are going to be the number 1 or number 2 seeds. Central Phoenix City is number 1, ranked number 1, and number 10 is Prattville. So it kind of comes down to this. Enterprise has beaten Dothan, and Dothan played last night. So Dothan pretty much needs Prattville to lose to get in. Otherwise, they would need Prattville to win and Enterprise to lose for them to get in. So as of right now, Foley and Baker don't know who they're playing next week, Corey.
Well, I tell you, either one of the opponents that they're going to be playing is really the top level of 7A football and really sets the standard. So you're going to have your hands full no matter who you're playing on the road or at home for our top 2 seeds in 7A Region 1.
If you take a look right there next to Mike Beckton in the green, that is the president of Bishop State Community College, President Olivier Charles, as he is on the field here for the coin toss between Murphy and Blount. The kickoff's going to be headed your way. Let's try to stick around and see who's going to win the toss, and then Corey will know exactly who's going to be getting the ball coming up here in the first half as well. So Murphy has declined, so Blount will get the ball when we come back and bring you the action. That's going to wrap it up for the MCPSS kickoff show. Headed your way, we will have the kickoff for our last ball game of the year for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Mobile County Public Schools, the place that has it all. We have 90 schools that include rural, urban, and suburban schools of various sizes. We are also home to Alabama's first public school. We welcome you to come join our winning team. Our district is led by the 2020 Superintendent of the Year, Mr. Cressel D. Threadgill. Our teachers are leaders in their profession who are afforded numerous professional development opportunities. Our principals are collaborators and encouragers. Our schools are leading in innovation and instruction. And most importantly, our students who are learning today, leading tomorrow, are simply the best. If you want to live in a historically rich city near beautiful beaches with superb southern hospitality, we invite you to come teach with the best. Team MCPSS.
Our children with special needs deserve a place to play. That is why we are coming together to build the Miracle League of West Mobile Schmidt Family Park. It will include a special needs ball field and playground, regulation baseball and softball fields, and more. We have raised more than $1 million and construction will start soon, but we need your help to complete the project. Visit mcpss.com/Miracle League to donate and to learn more. Any dollar amount will help bring a smile to a child's face. Together, we can make a miracle.
It's week 11, but there's still one more game left on the schedule for Murphy and Blount. It's been a topsy-turvy year for both squads that they've dealt with injuries, and changing lineups. But tonight, there's one last chance to capture a win and end the year on a positive note. Can Murphy muster up their Panther pride and pick up a W, or will the Blount Leopards sing loud and proud, "Fired up, Matty T, fired up, on to victory"? We're about to find out for the last MCPSS high school football game of the week this year. Good evening, I'm Al Whedon with Corley Bounty down on Ludgood Field inside of Harris Terry Stadium. And Corey, just like a couple of weeks ago back at Baker, I'm kind of working myself off the physically unable to perform list. I'm up to the injured reserve list, but we are on the track here to broadcast the game tonight.
And broadcasting from the corner end zone with the scoreboard to our right. I'll tell you, we'll rely on our great camera crew who's done a phenomenal job all season long, bringing you the best shots that are available, and hats off to the best crew in the entire state of Alabama.
So we're going to bring you the images tonight from 8 Mile, Alabama, as Blount and Murphy are going to go head-to-head. Kind of talked about it inside of the kickoff show. Blount and Murphy haven't played each other since 2013, and in that last contest, Murphy won, but it went to 2 overtimes as they beat Blount 35-34. Murphy won the toss, and they have elected to defer to the second half, so Blount is going to get the ball first, Corey.
Well, the interesting thing for Blount, as we will see their starting lineup when they hit the field, they'll be doing so with a freshman quarterback, who Coach Harris said, hey, due to injuries, we're having to go to our youth at that position, and sometimes injuries do help you to grow, so we may see the emergence of a young superstar tonight for the Blount Leopards at that position.
Enoch Irakosi set to kick off for the Panthers in their white. This is our third time having them this year on the season, and they've been home team, of course, so we haven't seen them in the white. They've been in the Navy, the typical Murphy Navy.
Well, I tell you, something that's never changed is that Panther pride. So we'll see how John McKenzie and his team react and try to get momentum going into this offseason. And Coach McKenzie, again, didn't take the job until late July, so only had less than 3 weeks when week 0 hit for high school football. But again, one of the best atmospheres that you'll find in high school football here at legendary Harris Terry Stadium. Again, Ben Harris with his tremendous tradition that he has. We're ready for kickoff, Al.
Back to receive, you have Cartel Washington, Tyler Tucker, also Myron Dunklin back there as well. And the kick is off. Going to be taken by Dunklin as he gets up to about the 24-yard line. Take a look at that starting lineup for the Blount offense. Freshman quarterback Isaiah Dunnigan is going to get his first start tonight, but Blount will look to get the ball to their back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher, Deshaun Williams. He's a dynamic rusher. When the Leopards do throw, look for shifty wide receiver Myron Dunklin to haul in the passes. The O-line has been banged up and features freshman Cameron Williams at right guard alongside South Alabama commit Willis Anderson. That Blount offensive line averages 286 pounds. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Leopards coming up. As a look right there at Isaiah Dunnigan, a freshman. Coach Harris told me he had 1 snap last week against St. Paul's, but this is his first start. Ball on the 23 as they give it off to Deshaun Williams as he runs up and picks up a couple. 2nd down coming up for the Leopards.
Well, positive yardage on 1st down is what's very important for Blount. And when you're able to get positive yardage, you bring up, looks like 2nd and about 6 yards to go. That's positive yardage.
Dunnigan looking over to the sideline. As the Leopards hand it off up the middle. I think that may have been, that's Williams. I thought it was Tyler Tucker, but Williams with 1, another carry for the junior.
And he looks like he may be a little bit gingerly limping early in the contest. Matthew Stallworth, the 6'2", 269-pound junior on the stop for the Murphy Panthers.
3rd down and about 4 coming up here for Blount. They continue to run 3 straight runs for Williams, and look at him go. And he picks up the first down, plus some more. Take a look at the Murphy defense. The Panthers play a 4-3 with defensive end Timothy Haynes leading the team with 2 fumble recoveries. Bandit linebacker Andre Woodard is the Panthers' leading tackler and has 2 interceptions. Helping him out is will linebacker Desmond Mitchell. He's a run stopper. In the secondary, look for free safety Jamal Cleveland to have an impact tonight. And cornerback Corey Kelly is going to come over from offense to lend a hand. Murphy averages 243 pounds across their defensive front. Another handoff to Deshaun Williams. And the Panthers are going to stop that one for about a 2-3 yard loss, Corey.
Good job of the corner coming up and making that tackle. Timothy Hayes, 5'10", 190-pound senior on the stop. But on that last set of downs, Blount was able to pick up a first down. And another playmaker for the Blount Leopards is Myron Dunklin.
Correct.
The 5'11", 190-pound junior wide receiver. He's played a little quarterback this year when necessary, but a tremendously versatile athlete for the Blount Leopards.
He sure has taken some snaps. 2nd and long, they give it back to Williams. Blount continues to run. Dunnigan has not attempted a pass yet here in his first start. Nice pickup by Williams, gets maybe 1 or 2 yards inside of the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and long coming up here for the Leopards.
Santrez Calhoun and Matthew Stallworth on the stop for defensive coordinator Michael Perry and the Panthers, who have given up 34.6 points a game this season, but so far it looks like Blount is going to be very meticulous and take their time at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 9 officially.
Looks like this could be a passing situation. Dunnigan gets it out to Myron Dunklin. You were just talking about him. And Dunklin appears to have enough for the first down, and the chains are going to move, Corey. So Dunnigan 1 for 1 tonight.
I absolutely love the fact that this young freshman decided to throw to Myron Dunklin because, again, I just mentioned the versatility that Dunklin and the comfort blanket that a veteran wide receiver can bring to a young quarterback, and that is a huge first catch and another first down for the Leopards.
Check out the shoes of the young freshman, quite colorful as well. And we have our first penalty of the ball game. Looks like it may be a false start against the Leopards, something they do not want to have a lot of tonight, penalties. So that'll cost Blount 5 yards as our white hat Mike Becton reaches down to pick up his flag and put it back in his waist. Puts the ball right at the 50-yard line. Mike Becton, Charles Shipp, Ladariel Thames, Willard Ford, Otis May, Ryan Green, and Chip Mayhall calling the action here tonight at Harris Terry Stadium. So 1st and 15 for the Leopards. Ball right at the midfield stripe, Corey, sitting on the 50-yard line. There's a shot of Dunnigan right there. Tried to catch Dunklin on the slant, but the ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, almost intercepted by Murphy.
Javaris Chambers, the 5'10", 183-pound sophomore, did an outstanding job of reading what gap to blitz through. And again, he came untouched and was able to bat that ball away. It was either going to be a sack or an incomplete pass, and luckily for the Leopards, it was an incomplete pass. 2nd
and 15 coming up here for Blount. Murphy and Blount have met 29 times, and Murphy leads the series 20-9. But as I said earlier, they haven't played each other since 2013. Going back to the running game of Deshaun Williams as he is tripped up right there by the young man. You just called his name a while ago, Andre Woodard, Corey. Big-time tackle right there.
And Woodard is that absolute sideline-to-sideline type linebacker for the Murphy Panthers. And as he tries to bounce to the outside, just got enough of the shoelace to trip him up, and it negates any type of positive yardage that Blount may have picked up.
Williams possibly could have picked up maybe 5 or 6. 3rd and long coming up here for the Leopards as they are now going backwards. Dunnigan rolls out, and that pass incomplete as he tried to connect with his receiver, Terrence Miller. So it'll be 4th down for the Leopards as this drive is going to stall just inside of the 40-yard line.
Well, Nothing wrong with go ahead and put the ball on your foot as long as you don't turn the football over. That's the biggest thing now. You have to make sure you have a clean snap, and special teams always the third phase that never goes unnoticed in regards to on the stat sheet at the end of games, because missed extra points like we saw 1 week ago are huge in determining who actually wins the contest.
Ladarius Williams on to punt for Blount, gets a nice punt off as Jalen Edney and Brian Jackson are just going to stay away from it. Take a look at that Murphy offense as they're coming on to the field. And leading the Panthers is quarterback James Holbrook. He gets the start tonight. He's a 45% passer with 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Look for him to connect with leading receiver Jalen Edney, who's averaging 21 yards a grab. When they do run it, Kentrell Willer, one of your impact players, Corey, will probably carry the rock. He averages 6 yards per rush. Up front, the Panthers are banged up a bit, so seniors Christian Boyd and Malachi Howard are going to move from their typical guard spots to play left and right tackle tonight, as Murphy averages still a hefty and fluffy 292 pounds across the front, Corey.
You want to pound it down Blount's throat with that big offensive line. A little trickeration early.
Flea flicker early. Holbrook throws it and connects with Edney on the first play of the ball game. Edney's going to take it to the house. Touchdown, Murphy Panthers.
And that's huge for Jalen Edney and James Holbrook as he throws his 6th passing touchdown of the season. Has now thrown over 400 yards, and Edney comes in and has his 7th receiving touchdown. We know he's explosive as a special teams player, as we saw him in the intro graphics here on MCPSS television. But again, the 5'9", 161-pound junior making a house call early for the Murphy Panthers.
Early on, Ira Cozy on for the extra point. He is 12 of 18 on the year in PATs. One play and the Panthers strike early. Ira Cozy's kick is up and it is good. So Murphy has jumped out on top 7-0. Let's take a look at this replay. A perfect drawn up flea flicker, Corey.
Great job of protection by the offensive line, and the defensive back just got caught peeking into the backfield a little bit, and because of it, you see 6 points on the board for the Murphy Panthers.
Isaiah Spears, as you said, looking in the backfield, Corey. And there's the guy right there, John McKenzie. He does have offensive coordinator Cedric Smith, but we know Coach McKenzie can dial up some plays. He's a former quarterback from Jackson State.
Absolutely, and they must have seen something on film that really allowed them to call that, because that flea flicker doesn't work if you get the penetration that you need from your defensive lineman. And the offensive lineman, you mentioned no fluff in that blocking ability there, shown as the flea flicker goes to the house. And it's a great offensive play call. And
you're right, Corey. They had to have seen something in film, and you have to have the confidence to pull that out on the first play of the ball game as well. So Coach John McKenzie not scared to pull the trigger right there as Murphy gets on the board early, up 7-0, and Blount about to get the ball here for their second series as Ira Cozy is going to kick off. Taken by one of the up guys for the Leopards. He does have some room up the middle. I don't know if that's Myron Dunklin or not.
18.
Looks like Marlon Miller, and he is chopped down just in front of us near the 3-yard line. Miller with a great return, one of the up guys for the Leopards, as the momentum has now hopped inside of the Leopards vehicle, Corey.
Brandon Bendoff with the stop for the Panthers that stopped the house call on the kickoff, and that's how you answer from a momentum standpoint. And you look at everyone doing an outstanding job of getting a hat on a hat, and the Jets were turned on, and Marlon Miller, the 6'1", 150-pound junior, with an outstanding kickoff return, and it almost scores 6 for the Leopards. But here in the red zone, Al, they must capitalize and score 6.
First and goal coming up for Blount. Looks like they're going to put it on the 4-yard line as they are just in front of us. Lined up in the pistol formation. Of course, they're going to go to Deshaun Williams, and he's going to plow in and hit pay dirt. And the Leopards answer right back with a touchdown of their own.
With less than 20 seconds taking off of the game clock, you answer a score with the score. And if you're Blount, that's what you have to do.
Right.
You have to answer score for score. And again, it all starts with that tremendous kickoff return by Marlon Miller on special teams, making people miss and discarding the defenders, as again, it sets up a 1st and goal. And on the first play, the Leopards are able to score.
Now, Corey, I didn't see him hit the circle button and spin, but he was bobbing and weaving. I will give Miller credit for that. You know how you'll say, hit that circle button and hit that X. And it appears if Blount is going for 2, Corey, not going to kick the extra point. And it is hauled in right in front of us. The big fella hauls it in. Kimon Vale, and the score is now 8-7. Blount is on top.
There's a lot to like about Mobile County Public Schools.
What I enjoy about Mobile County School is the extra attention my teachers give us to help us learn.
Teachers are liking their access to technology, and students are liking the quality of their education.
I like the technology that's been incorporated into my education.
And since 1826, you have trusted us to prepare your child for their future, and we like that. Mobile County Public Schools. We are learning today, leading tomorrow.
Don't forget to mark your calendar. It is coming up, and coming up soon. Friday, November 11th is Veterans Day, so all schools and offices will be closed as we honor those who've given service for our country and continue to do that. So Friday, November 11th, Veterans Day, a long weekend, Corey County. All schools and offices closed. A lot of businesses will close down for Veterans Day as well that Friday.
And we want to thank all our veterans for the service that they've given the country and the sacrifices as well, as we've seen tremendous patriotism exhibited throughout the entire season by the JRTC as they go ahead and bring out the flags to begin the games.
Back to receive from Murphy. T.K. Barnett and Jalen Edney. Corey, we know Barnett is not getting the start tonight. Suffered an injury a couple weeks ago against Robertsdale, but got some clearance and he's going to play. Has a cast on that left hand, but he's going to make an impact tonight some kind of way. They kick away from Barnett, but they go to Edney. And Edney with a nice return here for the Panthers. And we have a flag on the play. Take a look at that scoring drive from Blount. One play, a 2-yard run by Deshaun Williams, only burned 6 seconds off the clock.
Well, when you start looking at our opportunities here to have explosiveness in the first quarter, it's score for score. You go ahead and you run the flea flicker, then you turn around and you have a tremendous kickoff.
Right.
Points on the board quickly here at Harris Terry Stadium.
Holding against Murphy, that's going to push him back. The Murphy scoring drive, one play, 77 yards as they got on the board first. But as you just said, Corey, Blount came back and answered quickly. So it's going to be 1st and 10, balls on the 20-yard line for the Panthers here. This game has started off quite exciting. On the run for the Panthers, taking that ball, Ben Jackson picks up a nice gain from Murphy. First down as the Panthers are moving early.
Look at the replay. Benjamin Jackson shows his speed and his ability to read a hole as he bounces to the outside, lowers his head, and gets it close to the 40-yard line, where as Murphy again will have a fresh set of downs.
About a 19-yard pickup. Ball's on the 39-yard line. As we approach the halfway point here in the first quarter, Al Whedon, Corey LeBounty at Harris Terry Stadium for the last regular season contest of the season for these two, Murphy and Blount. Quick handoff to Wheeler, up the middle he goes, fumble, ball is out. Blount scoops it up. Johnny on the spot. Jerry Brand, we know he's played some offense as well, but right then, Corey, he used those big paws and scooped up the pigskin.
Jerry Brand, the 6'2", 180-pound senior, here delivering on senior night. Did not decide to fall on it, and again, sometimes that ball bounces right into your paws, and it's a turnover for the Panthers, a +1 here on the turnover ratio there. And again, Blount's defense answers the call after giving up that huge flea flicker that led to a touchdown. Regrouped itself, and Coach Harris, on both Coach Harris's on defense,
right,
have really stepped up to the plate here and now give the offense an opportunity to answer.
Leopards trying to take advantage of this gift. Ball's on the 29-yard line. They're going with a little trickeration, little end around as they hand it off to their receiver with a nice run. Terrence Miller picks up about 9 yards. Nice play call right there by the Leopards.
Terrence Miller shows his speed and versatility for the Blount Leopards, and again, just getting positive yardage. It's what's so very important, and that two-point conversion can't be overlooked as well. And not quite sure if Blount just doesn't have a great kicking game, kicking off of the tee, but again, lead 8-7 early.
Low snap. That is a lateral. That's a live ball. As Miller was trying to make sure it went out of bounds, but they're going to take a loss there, Corey, something they do not need. At this point, the young freshman couldn't really get a grasp on it. And the Leopards are going backwards. Almost pushes them back to the original line of scrimmage. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 coming up for Blount.
Well, what's going to be important here is no more penalties being called against the Leopards that create difficult down and distance situations. And you want to have confidence in your freshman quarterback.
Williams kind of frustrated, saying, I thought you were going to give it to me. Looks like a busted play, some miscommunication on Blount's part, and it is now 4th down as they are now at the 35-yard line.
And if you're Murphy, you're just glad that Blount was not able to capitalize. As you can tell, the misread as Williams did think he was going to get the football in his belly, and because of it, very frustrated and shows his emotions there. But there is a loss on the play for Blount in that misfortunate mishandoff.
Blount at no man's land. Too close to punt, too far away to kick. They're just going to throw it up and do a 50-50 ball, and Myron Dunklin comes down with it. That is a touchdown, a 35-yard pass. Dunnigan threw up a prayer, and it was answered by the senior.
Dunklin does his best impression of the great basketball player he is, as well as that was a jump ball. He high-pointed the football, and again, the 5'11", 190-pound junior finds another 6 points. But kudos to Dunklin for go ahead and making sure that that ball was not caught by the defender.
Correct.
Or knocked down. He went ahead and used his box-out basketball skills and came away with that catch, and then had the run after the catch, Al, which is even more impressive.
Had to do that. Blount once again going for 2. So, Corey, very good observation on your part. Something, their kicking game must be tremendously and not in a good spot. And right up the middle goes Dunnigan for the 2-point conversion. 16-7, Blount is on top.
If you look at the numbers, Mobile County Public Schools is making great strides. With more than 53,000 students, 7,000 employees, and 90 schools, we are consistently increasing our 4-year graduation rate and our first-class pre-K program. We continue to strive for national recognition and continue to prepare our students for the global workforce. And we do all of this with one goal in mind: to equip and empower college and career-ready graduates. Mobile County Public Schools. We're learning today, leading tomorrow.
we welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. T.K. Barnett with the kickoff, and it looks like he is taking it to the house. He doesn't have to worry about the cast on his left arm because his right arm is holding a pigskin secure, Corey.
Let me tell you about T.K. Barnett, folks. This is a young man who started the season at quarterback for the Murphy Panthers. He transferred in from Nebraska,
right,
and they knew they had a diamond in the rough in T.K. Barnett. But when he dislocated his finger a couple of weeks ago, as you mentioned, the doctor said, hey, do you want us to put pins in it, which will put you out for about 6 to 8 weeks? He said, no, sir. Just numb me up, straighten it up. I'll go ahead and wait a couple of weeks with the cast on. And here it is, his last high school football game of his career. He makes an immediate impact on special teams and shows you the dynamic special teams and athlete that he is with the cast on his arm.
He wants to be on the field. Ira Cozy's kick is up, and it is good. 16-14 is our score. Let's take a look at the replay as Barnett takes it up the middle, almost untouched. He got touched early, and Corey, he's running so fast, he's got that head back and just flying in the wind, man.
Well, I tell you what, you know, he's just a tremendous athlete who plays basketball as well for Coach Andre Epps. And again, you know, that is the equivalent of hitting that three-point shot for the Murphy Panthers and making that difference. But his special teams players did a good job allowing him to get past that initial wave of Leopard defenders and takes it to the house. And again, T.K. Barnett on senior day for the Blount Leopards, as well as himself as a senior.
That's right.
Makes himself known and says, I'm still in it.
He is definitely still in it. Ira Cozy on to kick. We have some whistles from the official. I believe we may have had a flag against Blount. They're going to bring him up 5 more yards, so he's going to kick from the 40. Don't know what the infraction was against the Leopards, but Ira Cozy is going to tee it up here. And if you notice, a lot of the players are still wearing the orange spats, the pink spats and pink towels and pink tape. And October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But Corey, we have on our red tonight in honor of Red Ribbon Week, encouraging the young folks to say no to drugs. So that's why we chose to go with our red this week. We had on pink last week down in Theodore. On the return for the Leopards, Tyler Tucker. And that's a nice return as he gets it up to the 35-yard line. Got to thank our folks over there at Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs and save more lives. A portion of subs purchased at Firehouse will go to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. So make sure you visit Jim and Susie Sherman at the Greenlight Road location of Firehouse Subs. Also, we want to thank BSN Sports, where you can get team apparel and equipment from basketball to wrestling and all sports in between. BSN Sports, the heart of the game. Visit them online at bsnsports.com. Blount comes out to the field, 1st and 10 on the 35. Corey, we've had a very exciting first quarter so far.
And again, 16-14. The lack of kicking for Blount hasn't mattered because they've been able to score both extra points on 2-point conversions, as now the Blount Leopard game. Offensive line coach Blaine Clausell has done a tremendous job in his first year here, trying to get some of that winning tradition that he's accustomed to when he was at Mississippi State,
right,
as well as coming over. He played at Baker and in the Senior Bowl, and now having coaching stops at Davidson, as well as here at Blount, just making a name for himself as an offensive line coach.
And that offensive line, 276 pounds they're averaging. They blocked for Williams, 5-yard pickup by Deshaun Williams, so 2nd and 5. As they fake the handoff, Dunnigan going to keep it, show his little fast feet right there. And that's going to be enough for the first down as he gets close to the 50-yard line.
Well, that's what you want out of your freshman quarterback. He's only 5'6", 146 pounds, but this is a young man that's going to continue to flourish in this Josh Harris coached offense, as Coach Josh Harris is a former quarterback himself, having played at Tuskegee after his high school career here at Blount High School.
1st and 10 for the Leopards. Back to Williams they go. And he picks up maybe 2 or 3 on the carry. Once again, looking at that big number 57 around there, Corey, Matthew Stallworth. You've called his name a few times already tonight.
Again, 6'2", 269-pound junior. Tackled alongside of Jabarish Chambers, the 5'10", 183-pound sophomore, in as well, Al. But when you start looking at how important it is for Blount to get a first down right here, it's critical.
2nd and 8, Dunnigan throwing. Pass too high for Marlon Miller. 3rd and long coming up for the Leopards. That stops the clock at 1:39 here in the first quarter.
Well, one of the more exciting first quarters that we've had all season long here.
I agree with you. It has been non-stop action. As soon as I get my flip chart over to talk about one team, Corey, I'm flipping it over because that team just scored. So I've had constant flipping here since 7 p.m. Al Whedon, Corey LeBounty, statisticians Shanna Powell and Matt Moore here at Harris-Terry Stadium. Once again, Dunnigan going up high for that jump ball. And this time it is intercepted and brought down by Murphy's Corey Kelly. Talked about him coming over from offense to help out on defense. That's the position TK Barnett normally plays, left cornerback.
And just a great job of waiting to turn the head to the balls in the air. A little bit overthrown, and it was 10 versus 10, but 10 in white. Corey Kelly, the 5'5", 160-pound senior, coming away with the interception, and that is a big-time turnover for Murphy in regards to just trying to capitalize with some type of momentum, having the ball here at their own 15-yard line.
90 seconds remains here in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for the Panthers at their own 15-yard line. 2 turnovers committed by each team in the first quarter. Holbrook looking to throw, and he is going to be sacked for a big-time loss. He could not get rid of it, Corey. He has to eat it, and the young man is coming up slow.
Great job of this huge defensive line for the Blount Leopards. Aaron Moore, 6'2", 226-pound freshman in first, as well as Mr. Norwood, Kevin, that is, our impact player, 6'1", 283-pound junior. And when you start looking at the amount of plays, Matthew Moore, one of our statisticians, Blount has run 20 plays to Murphy's 4 here in the first quarter of play.
We have a stoppage here. A timeout has been called by John McKenzie and the Panthers, and that's a very good observation by our statistician Matt Moore, because we know Murphy scored quickly right off the jump, but they've been going back and forth. There's a shot right there of Blount head coach Josh Harris as he talks to Myron Dunklin with the red dreads right there. Dunklin hauled in 2 big catches tonight, but most importantly, one for the touchdown that he did earlier here in the first quarter.
Well, with 47.1 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play, Blount doesn't want to turn the football over anymore. And Murphy has to really value the football, as well as when you start talking about that big-time hit that their quarterback, James Holbrook, took. Now, Demetrius Davis is the backup quarterback, because we mentioned TK Barnett.
Right.
He's normally the starting quarterback because of his hand. It's hard for him to really grip the football with any consistency. Now, we'll see now if Murphy is able to reload itself and get back on track offensively as we get ready to end the first quarter of action.
One thing I really want to say here, Corey, after that sack of Holbrook, one of the Murphy offensive linemen had lost his helmet. So I wonder if that was a reason why Coach McKenzie wanted to call the timeout, because he wanted to have proper personnel, because that player would have had to come off for one play with them been backed up so close to the end zone. 2nd down here as they hand off to Kentrell Wheeler. Kind of what I was saying. He hits the hole, gets back to the 10. That appears as if it possibly might be our last play. About a half-second differential between the play clock and the game clock.
Looks like they may have to run one play.
They might have to, Corey,
before the clock hits triple zeros.
I think the game clock may expire before. And That looks to be the case as Coach McKenzie calls the kids over to the sideline. So that's going to wrap up the first quarter. A very explosive first quarter. Blount's on top, 16-14.
Parents, if you have a child who will be 4 years of age on or before September 1st, 2023, then mark your calendar to register for the Mobile County Public Schools First Class Pre-K program. Online registration for the 2023-24 school year opens January 15th, so don't miss this opportunity. Log on to MCPSS.com for more information and a complete listing of pre-K sites, screening, and selection info. First Class Pre-K registration, January 15th. Save the date.
You've got questions? We got answers. MCPSS.com. Whether it's attendance zones, school calendar, lunch menus, or registration information that you are looking for, you can find it right here. MCPSS.com. You can also get the latest news and district-wide calendar information, and it's just a click away. So when you need to know, and you need to know right now, check us out. MCPSS.com.
MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Take a look at first quarter statistics. -4 rushing yards for the Panthers, but no worries, Corey. They have 96 passing yards.
And a lot of that was on that first flea picker that we witnessed early in the game. Holbrook to Edney, and 92 total yards for the Panthers. 69 for Blount, and 45 of those passing yards were on that outstanding Myron Duncan catch.
No penalties for Murphy so far. And I could see that from where I am, Corey, way here in the south end zone. That's going to be a false start on a few of the Panthers. Even the quarterback was doing the Cupid shuffle on that one. So I believe Holbrook, along with his other comrades, got called out. So I think I jinxed him by saying they had no penalties.
Well, they had to go ahead and make sure they got one on the board, Al. You know, there was none in the first quarter of action, but you know, that signal means that Murphy's backing up the wrong direction.
You are right.
As they are playing that over the PA. And Coach Gamble, the historic PA announcer and coach, legendary coach here at Blount, brings the fans into action.
Ball on the 6-yard line. That pass incomplete to Jalen Edney. It's going to take Murphy to 4th down, and boy, it is going to be some close quarters here for Ira Cozy, who's coming in to punt. As this ball is close to the end zone here. So a few things the Panthers are going to have to be careful. Watch for the high snap or even the low snap here. Fourth and long. As Ira Cozy enters the end zone, where's the ball at? On the 6-yard line.
They just wanted a reset on the play clock, and they were able to get that here.
Cartel Washington back to receive the punt from Ira Cozy. A clean snap and a clean release. But Blount is going to have some excellent field position, Corey, inside the 40-yard line.
And it's going to be important for the Leopards to capitalize off of that great field position that you just mentioned. And we'll see here what this Panther offense, led by offensive coordinator Cedric Smith, and of course assisted by the head coach John McKenzie, as you look at the tremendous turnout here on senior night.
I was just looking at the stands here on the Blount side. Very good turnout, as they always support their Leopards. You know, win, lose, or draw, they're going to come out and support the Leopards. A great following that Blount has as well. So a good attendance tonight on senior night, as Mike Beckton kind of pointed against Blount. I believe we could have had a flag on the play, Corey. I don't recall seeing any laundry, but he's looking to get some things clarified with his officials. See if he's going to mark us ready to play as he's walking across the field. Both of these teams almost about to hit their offensive average. Blount averages 11.6 points on offense, and Murphy averages 17.9 as we sit at 16-14 here at the 11:45 mark of the second quarter as he's asking Charlie Shipp to come over. So something occurred on that punt return.
And we just couldn't see it from our angle here in the end zone. And because of it, we're relying on pitchers to tell the story.
Well, the hole is declined against Murphy. White Hat Beckton, they figure it out. So they're going to place the ball at the 35-yard line. As I said, Blount's going to have great field position here. Deshaun Williams with the run. Nice run by Williams. That should be enough for a first down as he is inside of the 25.
Well, Williams runs extremely hard, and again, he takes out his frustration on the opponents, as we saw him just moments ago when there was that mistimed handoff. He goes ahead and says, well, when I do get the football cleanly, I'm going to show you what I can do with it. Picks up 5 of those yards, and now the Leopards are back at it.
First and 10 at the 25. Snap comes to Dunnigan, surprises him. It appeared as if he was not ready for the snap, Corey. He was literally just kind of standing there like a pillar, and boom, here comes the ball.
Deshaun Williams gets the handoff that, again, was not clean, and sometimes that timing, when it's not clean, can make a huge difference in how you go about executing your blocks as well. And now we're looking at second down and 11 yards to go for the Leopards.
Pushes them back 1 yard. Ball now at the 26. They're knocking on the door of the red zone for Blount. Williams just to the left of Dunnigan. Little quick screen they set up for Myron Dunklin, and that goes nowhere because he is wrapped up immediately and tackled.
That impact player, Andre Woodard.
Woodard once again.
Strikes again as this young linebacker, 5'10", 159 pounds, shows his versatility and his worth to this Panthers defense. And it just also goes to show why he immediately becomes one of our impact players, as we've seen him play this entire season, making a difference.
And in this first quarter into the second, he's already had an impact tonight. That's the second time he's been in the backfield to shut a play down. Third and long, fumble snap. The freshman recovers, has some room. A flag comes out thrown by White Hat Mike Beckton. That always kind of suspects a holding call. We'll get the call from him momentarily. But once again, Corey, as they played the backup sound effects from Murphy, Blount backing up right now.
One of those old dirty rags that you want to keep off of the field. And if you're not able to clean up those old dirty rags for Blount, you put yourself in terrible down and distance situations moving behind the sticks.
Holding against the Leopards. They're going to replay third down. And so far, we have seen Blount's quarterback, Dunnigan, kind of throw up the 50-50 ball twice. The first time, Dunklin comes down with it and scores. The second time, Corey Kelly intercepts it. And they seem to do it when it's a third or fourth and long kind of play. So let's see if they go back to the well once again, or they're going to come up with something else from the play sheet here.
Marcus Douglas and KJ May leading this Blount Leopard attack. And what you try to do is on the one-on-one coverage, you give your wide receiver the best opportunity to catch the football.
Third and long from the 43. They go up top. And I believe that pass is brought in and completed. And it sure is great grab by the Blount receiver to bring that one in.
And what you have to do is look the football in. You have to keep the ball in play. He high points it and is able to make that catch.
Jonathan Coward on the reception. Correction, that's not Coward. Coward's offensive lineman. So we'll have to get a number on number 6, get a name for him. 1st and 10 coming up for the Leopards inside of the red zone. Low snap, but they get the handoff to Williams as he pushes the pile forward inside of the 10. Second and 8 coming up here for Blount. They're inside of the scoring zone right now, trying to extend the lead up 2 with 8:20 remaining here in the second quarter.
And on that catch, it might have been Todrick Withers. He's a freshman, 5'6", 173 pounds, because Jerry Brand is the only other number 6
and he plays
on the
defense.
roster.
Right.
But again, Al, when we don't have the rosters provided to us, sometimes that's what we have to do is kind of scramble to find that.
Tyler Tucker on the carry as he goes up the middle. And you never know, Corey, like I said, it could have been Brand because I know he's played some receiver before sometime last year for Blount. 3rd and short coming up. Looks like about 3 yards to go here. Ball right at the 5-yard line.
Can still get a first down without scoring a touchdown.
Need to get to about the 2. Deshaun Williams, he can do it. And that should be enough as he's brought down right at the 1-yard line. I thought he was almost in the end zone to hit pay dirt. But right there once again, Matthew Stallworth clogging up the middle.
And you look at him being able to get and wrap up Williams before he's able to get into the end zone. But 1st and goal now for the Leopards.
You know who you got to give it to right here, Deshaun Williams. And he is met right at the line of scrimmage. The Murphy Panthers bow up. 2nd and goal coming up.
Now what you have to do is do that 3 more times and stop them inches short of that goal line. But wouldn't that be huge momentum if Murphy's able to find a way to control the line of scrimmage and come away with the stop? But 2nd and goal now from the 1-yard line.
Deshaun Williams just to the right of Dunnigan. They're going to pass going up top to, I believe that is Jerry Brand. And Corey, we're going to have flags on the play. That possibly could be offensive interference. Let's see what they have to say, because Brand, I believe, was trying to keep the ball away from Corey Kelly.
Well, that will take it away from the goal line. That's great observation there, Al, as we're in the opposite end zone from where it took place, and he just became a defender in that situation instead of a wide receiver.
Right.
And you go from 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line now to backing it up to 2nd and goal from close to the 15-yard line.
Literally knocking on the doorstep to get into the end zone. Blount decides to go with a little fade route in the corner, but the young man put the ball on the inside rather than the outside shoulder. As you said, this is his first start. He only had 1 play last week against, 2 weeks ago against St. Paul's, Coach Harris told me. But Corey, it's about the future, getting ready for the future. So 2nd and goal, as you said, from the 16-yard line for the Leopards. Wouldn't be surprised if we had a draw play right here, and they go to it. Deshaun Williams and tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Look at Murphy bowing up.
Timothy Hayes comes and makes his 32nd solo tackle of the season, and you look at him just come from the weak side and do a tremendous job of getting Deshaun Williams down on the ground.
3rd and long coming up here, Corey. All right, put on your coach's hat. What's your call right here, Corey LeBounty?
Well, you want to try to get half of this yardage back.
Right.
And maybe an inside slant or some type of jump ball to Myron Dunklin would be very effective right now.
Trip receivers to the top. And they dump it down to Terrence Miller. He's just going to get about half of it back. He's inside of the 10, maybe at the 7 or 8. 4th and goal coming up here. We have yet to see Blount attempt a PAT, so we would assume they would go for it right here.
So what you do now is you would have to go from a first or second and goal to go situation now to fourth and goal to go from almost the 7-yard line here. And they're going to mark it right at the 8. So I wouldn't be surprised here if Blount doesn't call a timeout here, too, to make sure they have what they want called.
And you're right, Corey. This will be a good time for a timeout. Talk to the young man. I believe Josh Harris is going to do just that. The play clock was under 10 seconds. We'll take a break as well and come back and bring you the play on the other side of this break.
Hello, I'm Katrina Frazier.
And I'm Deborah Robinson, and we would like to be your next realtors. As homeowners, we know how confusing it can be searching to find that perfect home that fits your needs and budget.
For that reason, it's important to have a reliable partner to represent you and to be there for every step of your home buying process. You'll find the services offered through Berkshire Hathaway, Home Services Cooper & Company Realtors are second to none.
So whether you are buying or selling your home, call us today and let our experience work for you.
Welcome you back to Harris Terry Stadium. Al Weed and Corey LeBounty for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Blount on top 16-14, trying to take advantage and punch it in the end zone. The previous drive by Murphy went backwards. Blount started off with great field position on the 35 of Murphy. And Corey, they have yet to hit the end zone. Now up to the 8-yard line after some penalties and some miscues. It's 4th and goal from the 8.
31 plays for the Blount Leopards as opposed to 6 for the Panthers. And all we have is a 2-point difference. 4th and goal to go, Al.
Dunnigan throwing, trying to catch with Marlon Miller. Went for the fade route in the left corner, incomplete, just pushed it a bit too far, and the Murphy defense bows up and holds.
And sometimes that's the difference maker in momentum, especially if Murphy's able to go ahead and capitalize. A nice placed ball for his wide receiver because he kept it in play.
Right.
But good enough defense to swat that football away, and now you see Murphy go ahead and take over possession at their own 8 yards.
Similar to where they were on the previous series that they had, Corey, kind of what got them in this situation where Blount couldn't capitalize. They're almost about the same spot they were.
Well, you have to watch out here for number 11, Edney and Wheeler. If he hits that hole and gets beyond the line of scrimmage, it can be disastrous for the Leopards.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. Edney goes into motion. He's in the slot. They hand off to Kentrell Wheeler, and I think the turf monster got him, or unless he tripped up on one of his teammates.
Well, Blount was making sure that they were going to go ahead and get great penetration, and that's exactly what they did, making that stop there. And there's no gain on that play. As a matter of fact, there's a 2-yard or 3-yard loss.
He lost about 3 yards, so they're going to push it back to the 6. Going back to Wheeler once again. Almost went outside, takes it inside. Forward progress is going to be stopped at about the 3 or the 4.
Charles Buford, 6'3", 170-pound junior on the stop. But now Blount making the Panthers go in the wrong direction, as that's just tremendous defense from the interior alignment, making sure that they're not giving up any gaping holes to this huge Panther offensive line.
And that line of Jamal Wigfall, Sion Morris, Kevin Norwood, and Chase Howard, they have played together all season, averaging 246 pounds. Holbrook's pass is dropped by Ben Jackson, somewhat behind Jackson as he was twisting. And once again, Ira Cozy is going to be in his end zone to punt. So, Corey, interesting. First quarter, we have offense and special teams everywhere. In the second quarter, we've just kind of had a stalemate here.
Well, what was interesting, too, Al, is on that 11-play drive that Blount just had and came away with no points, well, Murphy they weren't able to gain any momentum
Nope.
off of the turnover on downs, and now are going to punt out of their own end zone. And you hope Irakosi can have a great toe-to leather punt.
As he gets it off, Cartel Washington stays away from it, and that one is extremely short. I believe he may have gotten it out to the 35, which would be ironic because that's where Blount had their last series to start from, the 35 of Murphy.
3:34 remaining here in the second quarter of action here at Harris Terry Stadium, and what you want to make sure is that you're able to sustain another type of drive like you did, but are able to have different results in regards to the point system and putting points on the board.
Yep, it is 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line. Got to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and supporting high school athletics, and we want to thank you for your support all year for watching these ball games. And end around, this play has worked for both teams tonight, but right there it did not, as Terrence Miller's brought down at the line of scrimmage, but a flag on the far side near the Murphy sideline.
Came in real late at the end of that play too, Al.
Up to this point, Murphy's only had one penalty, which kind of started the second quarter. And it appears as if Mike Beckton talking with his crew, they could be pointing back this way toward Blount. Don't know if this will be a hold, but they discussed it. They picked it up. So it'll be 2nd and 10 coming up for the Leopards. So no gain on that end around for Blount as they continue to switch out personnel. Dunnigan runs onto the field. Play clock is at 10 seconds, Corey. They need to get it off. Trip receivers here to the near side of the Blount sideline. With 4 seconds, a direct snap goes to the quarterback. He's going to keep it, picks up about 2 or 3, and the Panthers just collide on him, led by Corey Kelly and the crew.
And that crew consisted of Jabarius Chambers, the middle linebacker for the Panthers, making the stop. Brings up 3rd down, and we'll call it 7 yards to go now for the Blount Leopards.
Shout of the crowd right there. They go to Deshaun Williams, and he tries to make a stutter step. He looks frustrated, Corey. Can't get his running off. As you see him sitting down there right there and say, what more? What else can I do?
And again, Matthew Stallworth coming from his defensive end position probably
once
leads
again
everyone in tackles, and he's really just being a ball hog tonight and really finding the pigskin.
We'll call it 4th and 7 here, possibly a long 6. Under 2 minutes. I'm surprised Josh Harris didn't call a timeout again to discuss this one. Play clock approaches 10 seconds. We're under 10 right now. They're telling him to come on. Dunnigan looking to pass, and he has a man, Marlon Miller, and that's going to be a touchdown. Looks like one of the Murphy defenders got tricked as Marlon Miller cut back inside on the slant.
Miller, again, had a phenomenal kickoff return and adds to his resume tonight, scoring a touchdown for the Blount Leopards on 4th down, which is a huge play for Josh Harris and the Blount Leopards to extend this lead to 22-14. And we mentioned they are going to go ahead, and doesn't look like they're going to kick the point after. They're going to go ahead and go for the 2-point conversion once again.
They have been successful both times so far tonight. Well, correction, Corey, we are going to have a PAT.
A timeout first.
But a timeout call before Jaden Nathan comes onto the field. And it may be a good time to talk about that. Did you know that high school juniors and seniors are able to take college-level classes, earn college credit, and save money on college costs, all while still in high school? It's possible through the dual enrollment program. Interested students should check with their guidance counselor or log onto bishop.edu for more information about the dual enrollment program. Take a look at the scoring drive put up right there by Blount. 4 plays, 25 yards, and a 25-yard touchdown pass to Marlon Miller. I believe that drive started actually on the 35-yard line, Corey, from what I have, but a 25-yard pass. Took 2 minutes and 1 second off the clock.
And we'll see here if they decide to go ahead and kick the extra point, and which is their first extra point attempt of the night, as they have gone for 2 the last 2 touchdowns they've scored.
Jaden Nathan on the kick.
Straight
He
away,
is lining that thing up, Corey, like I used to do in a neighborhood ball. We're gonna kick. And the fake is on. And they were trying to go to the big fella who came over from defense to play offense. The extra try is no good. Scores 22-14.
I have known since I was in 4th grade that I was going to be a teacher. I really just truly enjoy coming to work every day and working with different sets of kids and just watching them grow and learn.
I couldn't see myself doing anything other than teaching children, being a part of children's lives, being able to inspire them in a way that some people just aren't able to do. And to know that every day is a new day, a new opportunity to make a difference in the child's life means everything to me.
We welcome you back to Harris-Terry Stadium. Blount on top 22-14. As I said earlier, both of these teams have hit their offensive averages for tonight. First quarter, we had offense and scoring, and that's our looks like be our first points of the second quarter, Corey. All scoring had been done in the first quarter up to that point.
Well, here it is. Key answer for Blount. They're giving up 21.8 points per game, and Murphy already has 14 on the board. So it's going to be critical to make sure that they don't give up anything right here with 1:33 in the second quarter, right before halftime.
Sion Morris to kick off. We've already seen TK Barnett take one to the house earlier in the first quarter. They definitely want to kick away from Barnett. Up the middle it goes. Jalen Etney on the return as he brings it up near the 40-yard line. Got to thank our folks once again over at Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs and save more lives. A portion of subs purchased at Firehouse will go to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. So visit our friends Jim and Susie Sherman at the Greenlight Road Firehouse Subs location. Also thanks to BSN Sports, where you can get team apparel and equipment from baseball to cross country and all sports in between. BSN Sports, the heart of the game, online at bsnsports.com. And we have to thank them, Corey, as we said earlier, wearing our red polos tonight in support of Red Ribbon Week. My twins got to wear tennis shoes to school yesterday.
A lot of great activities associated with Say No to Drugs or Red Ribbon Week in the MCPSS schools.
Holbrook's pass is incomplete. Thrown out of bounds, so 2nd down and 10 coming up here for the Panthers. 1:22 remaining in the first half.
Well, Murphy can't afford to turn the football over. If Blount is able to come from the weak side and create some type of turnover, if you're John McKenzie, I know you want to put points on the board because you're trailing right here, but you have to be preaching to your guys, look, we really have to value the football.
Correct.
Now, again, the explosiveness of Edney at the wide receiver position is very evident.
Draw players, they hand it off up the middle on the carry. Winston Salters, our first time calling his name, the big fullback for the Murphy Panthers.
Positive yardage as the clock continues to run. We're down to 1 minute remaining here in the second quarter of action.
High snap to Holbrook. They go back to Salters once again. And you can hear the boo birds from the Murphy sideline saying, what are you doing running the ball? We want you to score. It's going to take Murphy to 4th down. Blount's going to possibly get this ball back once again, Corey, before halftime.
Well, that's what you have to keep an eye on here. Will Blount decide to go ahead and try to score additional points? Will Murphy be able to go ahead and punt this football away and keep Blount off of the scoreboard? Now, again, it boils down to how you're using your timeouts. We saw Blount call 2 early in the contest, and I think Murphy's only called 1, if I'm not mistaken. So here's a situation to where if Blount is able to come away with a stop right here, it would be huge in regards to giving your offense even more confidence coming out in the second half.
And I believe possibly Coach Harris may have burned one right there. Don't know if that was the last one or the second one or not. Now, Corey, I see on the far side that it's 4th down, but Murphy has their offense on the field. Not setting up to punt. 4th and short here coming up. Holbrook's pass is complete. They're going to get that first down as he got it to Ben Jackson. Jackson gets out of bounds. A couple seconds did run off the clock after he was out of bounds from the timekeeper, but they moved the chain. So Coach McKenzie rolls the dice and goes for it.
But that's huge in regards to coming away with the first down out of it, because it could have worked either way, to where you get this Blount crowd behind them going into halftime, and now you're in your 2-minute offense here for Murphy with James Holbrook calling the signals.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. Pressure on Holbrook. He goes up the middle, throws it. I didn't see a receiver.
And I think we are, or should probably have, an intentional grounding.
The ball went past the line of scrimmage. He was still within the tackle box, though, but if a flag came out, it possibly could be grounding.
And I don't see a yellow rag on the field, so it looks like we will not have intentional grounding.
Yep. What Mike Beckton is saying is to run the game clock.
Here it is, 25 seconds remaining, and now the ball is in play here at 2nd and 11. And I think Murphy is going to go ahead and try to call a timeout to really get an explanation as to what's going on here on the field at this moment. Again, 19.8 seconds remaining on the game clock, 2nd down and 11 yards to go for Murphy.
Sounded like the Panthers called timeout. I heard Santee Gamble say that from the press box, as Mike Belton is going to talk with the rest of his officials, try to figure some things out here.
It goes back to...
So we're going back to playing. Okay. 2nd down and about 12 yards here. Hand off to Kentrell Wheeler. Up the middle he goes. He won't get the first down.
Now, timeout is called with 6.4 seconds remaining, and Murphy is really going to have an opportunity here for one last play, and that's going to be a Hail Mary by James Holbrook, the 5'9", 180-pound junior quarterback, who is a baseball player by trade.
Right.
He has that great arm on him, Al, so he can go ahead and launch this if the offensive line give him time to get it to his wide receiver. He doesn't have a 6'3" or a 6'4" wide receiver to go up and get it, but he still has an opportunity to throw it as far as he can get it, or some coaches like to call just the draw and go ahead and see on the draw whether Wheeler can get them positive yardage as well.
Right, Wheeler picked up about 7 or 8 right there on the previous play, so it appears to be 3rd and short coming up here. And don't forget, Corey, coming up in the second half, Murphy defers, so they'll get the ball back. So if Coach McKenzie could pull something off, he could get the 2-for-1. We saw him do the 2-for-1 against Robertsdale, scored before halftime, and then came out and got the ball. And now a timeout called by Blount. So the chess match continues.
They decide that they couldn't take them to the locker room with them in regards to those timeouts. So go ahead and burn it and see what you're able to come away with.
Great respect being shown by both of these coaches to each other. We know John McKenzie won that state championship with Viger last year. In his first season here at Murphy, his overall record is 21-12, 5-1 in the playoffs, and has a .636 winning percentage as well. This first year for Josh Harris at Blount. Last year he led Scarborough to a middle school championship, and Scarborough repeated as middle school champs this season. As a matter of fact, that game was broadcast here on the network a couple weeks back.
Well, you see the feeder program here into Blount High School as the Knights cheerleaders are right in front of us here in the end zone. And 6.4 seconds, here we go, Al.
Holbrook looking to connect with who? TK Barnett, as they send him out as wide receiver, and he lands on that cast on the left hand, Corey, and just pops up like nothing ever happened.
Well, I tell you, that's just the type of athlete that he is, and wasn't able to come away with that one. But what we are able to come away with is a 22-14 score here in the first half of action.
Sure did. Put up 4 scores in the first quarter, only 1 score in the second quarter with that 25-yard touchdown pass to Marlon Miller. So all the scoring really took place in the first quarter tonight, Corey.
And what an exciting first quarter it was. We had a kickoff return after an answered flea flicker,
right.
And then we had another long rush and pass. So, again, these offenses have shown the explosiveness that they have, and now it's up for the defenses to make the adjustments here in the second half of action.
Got to keep down those penalties, those mental miscues. All right, we're going to come back and bring you some halftime action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ayla, hi.
Oh, hi, Sierra. How are you?
Good. How are things?
Things couldn't be better.
What do you mean?
Well, I just started this new job as a school teacher with the Mobile County Public Schools, and it has been a life changer. Great benefits, the hours are great, and great students. Just overall, it's a great opportunity.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Yeah. I'm going to look into that.
You should.
For more information, visit mcpss.com/job opportunities.
Since I was in 4th grade that I was going to be a teacher. I really just truly enjoy coming to work every day and working with different sets of kids and just watching them grow and learn.
I couldn't see myself doing anything other than teaching children, being a part of children's lives, being able to inspire them in a way that some people just aren't able to do. And to know that every day is a new day, a new opportunity to make a difference in the child's life means everything to me.
If you're looking for fun, fashionable, and affordable jewelry, it's here. It's Paparazzi. We have a variety of colors and styles of bracelets, rings, necklaces, and earrings for all occasions and for every event. New styles are added daily, which means you are always up to date with the latest fashion. For that genuine bling, join me, Charmaine Watson, the real jewelry lady, on Facebook Live Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. It's cute, it's fun, it's fashion, it's $5, it's Paparazzi.
It is halftime, and it is time to check out the bands on the field. Let's take a listen to the mighty marching Murphy Panthers. of the mighty Murphy Marching Panthers. We're going to take a break and come back, take a look at halftime statistics, also revisit Corey LeBounty's checklist and show you the Blount Leopard Marching Band. It's halftime for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
High school students, are you looking for a way to become a better leader? Then the Junior Officers Training Corps may be what you're seeking. If you would like to develop self-reliance, learn ways to be more responsible, and improve your communication skills, you can do that and more when you register for the Junior Officers Training Corps. The JROTC program is available to all high school students in Mobile County. JROTC, we build a better you.
Parents, if you have a child who will be 4 years of age on or before September 1st, 2023, then mark your calendar to register for the Mobile County Public Schools First Class Pre-K program. Online registration for the 2023-24 school year opens January 15th, so don't miss this opportunity. Log on to MCPSS.com for more information and a complete listing of pre-K sites, screening, and selection info. First Class Pre-K registration, January 15th. Save the date.
It was just like an extension of home.
Bishop give you that outlet to give you a career, a successful career.
We're doing some great things at Bishop State. Keep an eye on us.
The shot of the Blount Leopards drum major. And now let's take a listen to the Blount High School Marching Leopard Band.
Make no mistake about it, we are often imitated, but it's duplicated. action. What you know about this? Come on, let me say it for me. Come on, baby. Good time. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Okay. That's when you're a dirty old man. Okay, but I'm too.
A great performance by the Blount Mighty Marching Leopards as the seniors go out with a Soul Train line. And we're going to bring you the third quarter coming up here for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Great performance by the Leopards.
There's a lot to like about Mobile County Public Schools.
What I enjoy about Mobile County School is the extra attention my teachers give us to help us learn.
Teachers are liking their access to technology, and students are liking the quality of their education.
I like the technology that's been incorporated into my education.
And since 1826, you have trusted us to prepare your child for their future, and we like that. Mobile County Public Schools. We are learning today, leading tomorrow.
Back here at Harris Terry Stadium. What a great halftime performance by Murphy and also Blount, Corey.
Well, when you start talking about the last opportunity that you have to be a part of the marching band as well, they put in a lot of work and an outstanding Halloween edition of the field show by both teams.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at 6A playoffs. We started off the broadcast talking about the 7A matchups, but this is what's happening in 6A Region 1. This one's pretty much set, Corey. Theodore Region champs. We saw that great ball game with them against Saraland last week. They're going to host Sittling Lanier out of Montgomery. Wetumpka will visit Saraland. Spanish Fort back in the playoffs again. No surprise there as they'll have to travel to Pike Road. And St. Paul's playing up in 6A as they'll take on Carver Montgomery.
Theodore and St. Paul's playing each other this evening, and it was 6-0 last time we checked. But again, what a great job by all four of these teams qualifying for the playoffs in 6A Region 1, what we call the SEC West of high school football here down south.
Absolutely. I don't know if we're able to get 5A up. Take a look at that. Last night, BC Rain lost to Gulf Shores. That pretty much solidified Williamson at number 4. Rain would have needed to have won last night and forced Williamson to beat UMS Wright because that's who they're playing tonight. With the number 1 seed. UMS Wright, think about it, Corey, they've been the number 1 team the entire year in 5A Region 1.
Coach Terry Curtis having an opportunity to make AHSAA history tonight, becoming the all-time winningest high school football coach in the state of Alabama if they're able to defeat the Williamson Lions.
A win tonight, he'll get the tie, and if he can win next week in the playoffs against Headland, he will be the overall head coach with all the victories. Gulf Shores number 2 and Faith Academy. The Fighting Jack Frenches are the number 3 seed, Corey.
And when you start looking at Gulf Shores defeating BC Rain last night, but Faith Academy, that is an outstanding region. You and I talked about it all season long, that this year 5A Region 1 is as tough as 6A Region 1 has been in the past.
That's where all the action was. Let's take a look at the halftime statistics. Look at the rushing yards right there by Murphy. Continuing to not get any yards on the ground, but through the air, they're doing very well.
When you look at all the total number of plays, I know our statistician Matt Moore and China Powell have done an outstanding job all season long, but really point out to us in the first half the number of plays that Blount has run as opposed to Murphy. We'll see if that plays a factor here in the second half. If the time of possession continues to go in the favor of Blount, will that wear down the Murphy Panther defense?
Murphy is going to receive the ball in the second half. I don't know if we have time to get your checklist up or not. If we can, so we can kind of revisit some of those things. Murphy only 2 penalties for 15 yards and Blount 3 penalties for 30 yards, Corey. But your checklist said a lot about both of these teams on this matchup.
Exactly. Murphy had to play with a purpose, and again, they were able to do that by scoring on their first possession, and also they had to control field position and also eliminate the Murphy miscues. The penalties have been down. As far as Blount is concerned, don't spot points. Well, they were able to get on the board first in regards to Murphy, that is, and Blount was able to go ahead and not have any points off turnovers in the first half. The line of scrimmage Leopards have to continue to do a better job rushing the football and clean up that old dirty rag, as Coach Gamble, the PA announcer here, has said. You don't want those yellow flags to determine the outcome of the second half of this contest.
Murphy will be receiving the ball here in the second half. 1 turnover each for both teams. in the ball game, a fumble and an interception thrown, as our score is 22-14 with Blount on top here as we get ready to start the third quarter.
Well, what has to happen here for the Murphy Panthers, trailing 22-14, they need to come out of this locker room and establish themselves and the dominance that they would like to see here as they try to finalize and finish on a high note to end this 2022 football season.
TK Barnett and Jalen Etney standing back to receive this kick from Sion Morris. We've already seen TK Barnett run one back already. Right up the middle it goes. And one of the up guys from Murphy is going to take that. Murphy's going to get some great field position after that particular run.
Brandon Bendoff, I do believe, on the fielding of that kickoff for the Panthers.
Bendoff plays on defense, so some good hands shown by him. Shot right there of quarterback James Holbrook as he leads the Panthers onto the field. 1st and 10 for Murphy coming up here. Ball just outside of the 40-yard line at the 39. Quick pass. And that pass is dropped by Ben Jackson. Is he saying, Corey Lewis, I thought I had it, I thought I had it.
And that's one of those that you have to look all the way in and make sure that you make that catch if you're the Murphy Panthers, especially if you want to try to establish some type of rhythm offensively here in the second half.
2nd and 10 coming up for the Panthers. Panthers down 8 points to Blount right now. Holbrook checking his wrist. Play clock is under 10 seconds, so they need to get something off here, approaching 5. Little jet sweep to Jalen Etney. He does escape one Blount Leopard. Maybe picks up about 2 on the carry, Corey.
And Edney tried to use his speed to get across that edge, and a good job of containment by this Blount defense. Jamal Wigfall, the 6'2", 215-pound senior, winds up wrapping up on that tackle, finishing off Edney, and a good job of pursuit defensively for the Leopards.
That flash coming up the middle right there was Sion Morris. He had just kicked the ball off. So as he flashed up the middle from his nose guard's position, kind of slowed Edney down a bit. He couldn't really make that turn like he wanted to. Had to stretch it out a little wider, Corey. 3rd down coming up for the Panthers. Pass from Holbrook, and Ben Jackson made the mistake a lot of receivers make. He started to run before he caught the football.
Rule number 1 as a wide receiver, look the ball all the way in. And once you look it all the way in, then you can go ahead and worry about getting the yards after catch and yards after contact. But it's 4th down now for Murphy, and we'll see if they decide to go ahead and put toe to leather here and flip the field.
I like how Holbrook went to the sideline and patted Jackson on the chest and said, man, I'm going to come back to you. Don't worry about it. They went to him twice in that series right there. Shot of Cartel Washington as he is lined up to take the punt from Enoch Arakosi. Arakosi does get it. And Washington stays away from it. So another situation, Blount getting some decent field position, ball at about their own 32. So Murphy goes 3 and out with their first possession here in the 3rd quarter, Corey. Nothing to show for it. They hand the ball over back to the Leopards.
Well, when you start talking at halftime about the strategies of both of these coaches, Coach Harris, his first strategy was to get a stop coming out of halftime by his defense, and they were able to provide that for him. Now he just needs to go ahead and find his playmakers on offense, and if there's one-on-one coverage at the top of your screen, 10 versus 10, I'm going 10 purple if you're able to get him the football at this moment.
That would be Myron Dunklin, wide out for the receivers. Flag on the play.
That's self-inflicted, Al.
It is.
That's going to be false start.
That's going back. That's going backwards right there for the Leopards. You don't want to do that. First offensive play in the second half. Pushes them back 5 yards.
And that's part of the old dirty rag. You know what the snap count is offensively. You just have to make sure that you adhere to it and not able to come away there with the discipline that Coach Harris would like for his team to show. Is only last week only flagged for 4 or 5 penalties, right. And they don't want that to be the trend tonight where it goes upward.
Pushes them back to the 27. They hand off to Deshaun Williams. He tries to go forward north and south, maybe picked up about a yard. So second down is long, still coming up here for the Leopards. They're trying to get this offense together here in the second half.
Well, you have to find some type of push at the line of scrimmage. If you're the Blount Leopards, only 1 yard gain on the play. Second down and 14 yards to go from right around the 28-yard line of the Leopards.
Both of these teams lost last week. Blount lost to McGill 45-18, and Murphy lost to Spanish Fort 45-6. Looking to get a win tonight to wrap up the season on a positive note to get ready for next year for both of these teams. And I believe Blount has burned a timeout. That's correct. So Blount calls timeout at 9:53 remaining here in the third quarter. Corey, the last time the Leopards had back-to-back losing seasons, you have to go back to 2005 and 2006. So it's been a while for Blount.
Blount state champions in 1990, 92, 96, 97, and 98. And in the 90s, the decade of dominance, 109 and 22. And this historic program has put out over 10 NFL players, one being in the news this week, Kadarius Toney.
Big trade.
Getting traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. Looking forward to seeing this young man in a new environment show the electricity that he showed us here at Blount High School as well as at his time with the Florida Gators.
Corey, I think that's a good move. Let's talk some NFL. I think that's a good move by Andy Reid. They trade Tyreek Hill to Miami. People say, what do you trade your speedster for? Kadarius Toney is a speedster. Kind of almost the same height, same shape, same makeup. Get him healthy and get him under a Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We can see some big things from the young man.
He fits the system.
Sure does.
And
really
I think
does.
It's going to be a perfect situation for Kadarius to show all his athleticism.
Pass completed out to Myron Dunklin. Not quite to the original line of scrimmage, so it's going to be third and about 11, maybe 12 coming up here for the Leopards. That play pretty much did not develop for Blount, unfortunately.
And when you start looking at third and long, what you have to do is make sure that you don't commit another penalty and that also that you go ahead and protect your quarterback, because Deshaun Williams really hasn't had those gaping holes to run through tonight. And because he has not had large holes to run through, you just want to make sure that you value and protect the football.
We'll call it third and 11 here. Dunnigan rolls out to his right, connects with his receiver to haul that in.
And knocked out of bounds about the 38-yard line.
And again,
Dion Morris with the reception for the Leopards.
Morris coming away with a nice catch, but it will be about 4 yards short of the first down. And even though there's been no extra point that has been made by the Leopards, they have still been able to have success toe to leather in trying to flip the field.
They will have to punt here. Ladarius Williams out for his second punt of the night. Back to field it is Jalen Etney. Williams gets a decent kick off. And Etney takes it up to about the 35. So Murphy will get their second look here in the third quarter. That first possession, 3 and out, went very quickly. 2 incomplete passes to Ben Jackson and a run, and that was it. Murphy was punting, Corey.
Braxton Thompson doing a great job on special teams, making that tackle for the Leopards. And again, it pins the Murphy Panthers deep in their own territory here to start this drive.
1st and 10 coming up here for Murphy. And Corey, look who we have at quarterback. Yes, that is not your eyes deceiving you. That is T.K. Barnett with the cast on the left hand.
And he gets past the line of scrimmage. You know his speed.
I'm thinking kind of Wildcat, just like that. Let him use his legs. He may not can throw it, but look at him weave. And a big hit delivered right there, Corey. Wow.
Jerry Brand.
You could feel that one over here in the south end zone.
But what I love about it is T.K. Barnett took it on at full steam, took one step backwards and kept moving forward. As you see him cut back right into Brand in this hit as they go head to head, 1 yard back, and then he keeps plowing forward, showing the toughness with, again, an injured hand. But he has such sweet feet, does T.K. Barnett.
Right.
You love his explosiveness.
Have a stoppage in play. A flag against Murphy. Let's take a look at the Alabama Sports Writers Association 5A poll, top 10 polls. For the 3rd time in program history, the UMS Wright Bulldogs have held the #1 ranking for the entire regular season. The only change in the poll here is Faith Academy dropping to 9 from 7 after their 1-point loss to UMS last week. Let's take it up to 6A right quick. The Theodore Bobcats have received their first ever #1 ranking in history of the program as they defeated Saraland last week. They leap Clay Chalkville to earn the top spot. The Spartans dropped to 5. Mountain Brook drops from 5 to 7. They beat Baker last night, and they're playing they beat them last night. Outside the top 10, Spanish Fort picks up 1 vote. And lastly, take it up to 7A as Hoover reclaimed the top spot after defeating Thompson last week. So, Corey, we had 1 and 2 in 7A playing last week and 1 and 3 in 6A playing last week. And it looks like the folks on the bottom came out on the top. So Hoover's the new #1. The Warriors dropped down to 3 from 2. Fairhopes lost to Baker last week, dropped them to 8. And outside the top 10, the region champ in 7A Region 1, the Foley Lions pick up 10 votes, and Baker picks up 2, along with Mary G. Montgomery. Corey, we haven't said this in a long time. 1 vote in the poll, and I think they're off this week. Yeah,
they are off
this week.
6 wins in a row after starting 0-4, having a combined 4 losses in the first 4 games of less than 10 points. And all those 4 opponents they lost to are playoff bound.
That says a lot right there. So congratulations to Zach Golson and the Viking family out there in Sims. T.K. Barnett, 2nd play in a row, just going to use the feet that he offers for this Murphy offense.
He's just having fun with a smile on his face at the end of the rundown, letting the guys know, hey, look, I do have an injured left hand, but it still doesn't stop me from using my right hand and protecting the football and getting positive yardage for the Murphy Panthers.
Great camera work by our team right there on the sidelines. Leon and Richard. I believe we have a timeout. I don't know if that was Murphy calling timeout or Blount calling timeout, but at 6:57, we're going to take a break right here in action on the field. That allows us to take a look at one of my favorite times of the year, Corey. I know we wrap up football. There's one of our camera guys right there, Gary Bubba Arnold, as he's holding it down and representing for us. So we appreciate everything that Bubba's doing for us as well. I'm sorry, Gary Arnold. I used to work with him, so I call him Bubba like everybody. There's my golf buddy right there, Philip Mathis. He joined the crew this season, so he had a good time hanging out with us, running camera, and coming out and supporting high school athletics as well. He and I are going to have to get on the golf course after I get my knee surgery, Corey. The one and only Richard Beatty down on the sidelines doing the dirty work, staying out of the way so he's not getting run over by the players during the season. So he's a vet with us, so we appreciate Richard for doing his things as well. And there is Leon Frazier, just called his name. Oh, he's a star. Look at him winking. Ladies and gentlemen, it is star time. Leon Frazier's on your screen. Give it up for him. Give it up for him. Doing this thing. So also got to thank the great crew for that. Also our good buddy Derek Williams and Larry Richards right there. Well, that's Big Ron right there. Actually, that's where Derek normally hangs out. So Ron is on the 50-yard line, Cam, shooting it out for us tonight. Little trickeration. Holbrook comes back to the ball game with a backwards pass to Ben Jackson. Picks up 2 or 3. It's going to be 3rd and short. So those are just some of the folks on the crew. We have also other folks behind the scenes. We'll get our favorite camera shot of the year, Corey. The truck cam will come up later on at some point.
And you know, when you start looking at the overall production here, second to none here. I don't care if it's ESPN, I don't care if it's NFHS, it doesn't matter. The Mobile County Public School System broadcast comes to you in HD each and every Thursday and Friday night, August through October.
Absolutely. 11 weeks of greatness is what I call it. Kentrell Willer with a nice run right there. Picks up a first down, something that Murphy hasn't really done too much tonight, running the ball.
And you start talking about the number of plays, that's one way to go ahead and extend or try to catch up time of possession and number of plays run. And you know, Blount has nearly doubled up Murphy in the number of plays run, but when you look at the scoreboard, 22-14 is our score. And when you start talking about our score, Al, you must talk about the fact that the Blount Leopards here have had a lot of success early and are now with this 8-point lead relying on their defense to keep the lead.
That's right, going back to the defense. First down and 10 for the Panthers. Now switch quarterbacks, bring in Barnett as he hands off to Winston Salters, the big fullback, as he plows forward for a couple of yards. Second down coming up for Murphy as they want to get on the scoreboard right here. Shut out in the second quarter, did all of their scoring early in the ball game during the first. So we'll credit Salters about a 2-yard run. We'll call it 2nd and 8 coming up here for the Panthers. And now we'll switch again. Holbrook in, Corey. Etney goes into motion. And Holbrook just throws that one away.
And I can tell you that defensive pressure and quarterback hurry. No flag on the play.
A late flag by Becton thrown in. That might be roughing the passer, Corey.
Intentional grounding is what they're actually
they're calling it grounded. Okay, there it is.
And I didn't know if that flag was going to come out, but Kevin Norwood does a phenomenal job. He is one of our impact players, and you can see why when he disrupts that offensive line. The 6'1", 283-pound junior causes the quarterback to get that intentional grounding called against him.
There's the call from Mike Becton. He threw the flag.
And move the ball back inside the.
So that'd be a loss of down for the Panthers as well. Here's the replay right here. I mean, no one over there, Corey, at all. Still inside the tackle box as well. And the switch is on again as TK Barnett comes in. Panthers spreading it out. Barnett trying to grasp that ball to throw. You can see him. Pass looks to be incomplete to Ben Jackson.
It's just amazing what you're able to do with one hand, because as a quarterback, you want to try to be able to feel that ball with your offhand, and it's hard to kind of pat that ball and get into a rhythm as you pat it when you can't really feel it with that cast on your arm.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played quarterback except like in neighborhood little flag football, but people do always wonder, why do you snap the ball and you pat it with the other hand, you're holding it, you're kind of getting yourself ready. And Corey, you're right, when you have a big mitt or a cast, you can't do that naturally. It feels weird. So, I mean, I applaud the young man. I applaud the young man for coming out, as you said, it's senior night and leaving it on the field as his last ball game as a high school football player. Don't know if that ball went off of the Murphy receiver. And now here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the shot we've been waiting on all year. It's the truck cam going inside of the truck, showing the folks behind the scenes. Quentin Howard right there, executive producer in the blue polo. There's Charles Harris waving. The crew guy, that's our director, wave forward. Miss Diane with the hat on, way back over there in the corner. There's Bruce Canella waving. He normally runs camera. They're pointing to him. Eric Lowe back there running audio. And the man who keeps us on the air every week, and for some reason he can make the officials talk when he wants to, Fran Conway. Look at him laughing, Corey. I haven't heard Mike Becton say a word tonight.
Fran the man in the truck, and there's going to be a sack, fumble, scoop, and possibly a score by the Panthers, Zaquis James.
Zaquis James, who also plays center for the Panthers as well. A flag is in the end zone, possibly celebration.
Yeah.
But it looks as if we have a big scoop and score for the Panthers.
And that's one way to try to get your team back involved in this contest. And it's a good job of the officials having patient whistles. As we'll look here, there was not a clean exchange. The quarterback, he is hit on the play, and Matthew Stallworth absolutely smothers the
Once
quarterback.
again, Stallworth in on the action. Corbin calling his name all night.
And Zaquis James, 5'10", 267-pound senior, with the scoop and score for the touchdown. And now we'll have our unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for piling on one another in the end zone afterwards. And the big fellas, they deserve to celebrate and pancake one another in the end zone. But you would have liked to see them do that on the sideline. But the jubilation that they have now, only trailing 22-20.
Yeah, the big fellas got to celebrate right there, Corey. So Murphy comes out, and they are going to go for two. TK Barnett lining up at quarterback. I'm looking for like a wildcat direct snap here where Barnett's going to keep it. But no, he's looking to throw. And connects with Jalen Edney. The two-point conversion is good. We are tied up at 22.
Brand new ball game, folks, off of the scoop and score.
Each month, more than 90 guns are reported stolen from unlocked vehicles, creating the potential of serious injury or death.
Lock it up.
Many violent acts and crimes are committed with stolen guns.
Lock it up.
According to ATF, stolen guns pose a substantial threat to public safety.
Lock it up.
Be responsible. Take time to record your handgun serial number and secure it from thieves. Lock it up.
Lock it up for me.
We welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Murphy has tied it up after a scoop and score, definitely led by Matthew Stallworth, 6'2", 269 compared to Isaiah Dunnigan's 5'6", 146. Corey, you called it. He just swallowed Dunnigan up, and Zaquis James, Johnny on the spot, scoops and scores for the big fellas.
4:12 remaining here at Harris Terry Stadium, and we knew that Murphy needed to come out in the third quarter and score and was unable to do so. But when you're able to manufacture points, it goes back to what I said on my checklist. Don't spot points on Blount's side, and that's exactly what I meant by spotting points. That's that scoop and score that exactly means the first thing on my checklist under Blount was about spotting points. And because of it, Al, it cost them the opportunity to go ahead and be up by 8, and now we're scored here, tied at 22-22.
The pooch kick, that is a live ball, but Blount stays on top of it, almost dropped by one of the up guys right there. As we showed you the tease earlier, we will have our last game of the week brainbuster question coming up soon, so stick around for that. Be Corey LeBounty's last opportunity to score one correctly as the scoreboard ticker goes across the bottom. Mountain Brook came down and put a wallop on Baker last night, Corey. Saw Josh Flowers had 2 interceptions in the ball game on that particular one. UMS right on top of Williamson just by 2 points in the third quarter. Theodore up over Faith at St. Paul's 8-0 as well. Their scores continue to come in. Look at Auburn all over Smith Station, 56-0. And it looks like Central Phoenix possibly is going to continue to have that #1 seed in 7A Region 2. Dunnigan trying to escape, flags all on the field. We'll get the call from Mike Beckton here shortly. I don't know if that was a busted play or what, Corey. It looked erratic.
I tell you, shades of Bryce Young right there in regards to letting the big defensive lineman go over the top of you as you kneel and bend down without being down. An illegal shift is going to be called against the Leopards. But if we're able to take a look at the replay there, great job in the truck. Watch how he bends down, and the defender overshoots him. Stallworth does.
Squirted out the way.
And he's able to go ahead and find yardage. And unfortunately, the illegal shift being called against the Leopards is going to cost them 3 yards. But that's a great sign from the quarterback, showing the ability to escape trouble in the pocket. And that time, Stallworth was not able to wrap him up and went high, and the young quarterback Dunnigan just went low.
1st and 15. Ball at the 25-yard line of Blount. Handoff to Deshaun Williams as he is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose about 2 or 3. Williams just can't seem to get off tonight with his running, Corey.
Wants to try to get those positive yardage, but can't even really get his second and third step established before he's either running laterally or being down close to the line of scrimmage. And you can definitely see the frustration in this young man's face.
Tackled by Desmond Mitchell. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for the young man. He talked to us at media days about he wanted to break records and do great things. Corey Kelly almost picked him one off, Corey. That ball floated in the air to Terrence Miller.
Yeah, you just have to put some more oomph on that football if you're the quarterback for Blount. And that's one that, again, almost was a pick six.
Yeah, that could have been a house call for real right there. Kelly already has an interception in the ball game, but a flag on the play. Wait for the call here from White Hat Mike Beckton. Personal foul, roughing the passer called against Murphy. So that's a big 15 and a first down. So the Panthers bail out the Leopards on that play. So Blount on the other side of the 50 at the 45. Inside Panthers territory as we're notched up 22 apiece. Dunnigan looking to the sideline as he and Deshaun Williams approach the line. As you can see the movement right there from Terrence Miller, that's going to be a false start.
And you can see, I like the leadership by Deshaun Williams, telling his teammate, you know what the snap count is.
Right.
Hold yourself accountable. And we kind of saw the same type of leadership there last week when Alabama and Mississippi State played at the end of the game defensively.
Correct.
By teammates fussing at one another, just saying, hey, look, you know what your job is.
Yeah,
let's go ahead and execute.
Letting the shutout go, yeah. You're right about that. That pushes the Leopards back 5 yards, so it'll be 1st and 15. Ball sitting at the midfield stripe. They give it to Williams. Once again, that name we've been calling all night, Matthew Stallworth, pulls him down.
So active from his defensive end position, been having one of those nights to where this young junior is trying to put together an outstanding highlight film to build for the offseason from a defensive end or a defensive tackle position for defensive coordinator Michael Perry.
And I would say, Corey, he's making a strong case for the Career Tech Education Player of the Game. We have called Stallworth's name all night long. Second down, about 14 to go here for the Leopards. High pass to Marlon Miller. He's not quite that tall. He can't haul it in. Third and long coming up for Blount.
What a difference penalties make. And that's one of those things that I talked about. Don't spot points, but also cleaning that old dirty rag like our PA announcer to the legendary Santee Gamble talks about. You just can't afford to put your offense in negative situations, behind, down, and distance.
So after the roughing the passer penalty, Blount has yet to pick up an offensive yard on the series so far here. Third and long. They fake it to Williams and toss it out to Terrence Miller, but I believe he may be 2 yards shy or 3 yards shy of the first down marker. I'm sure the Leopards will be going for it right here, Corey.
Well, when you're in Murphy territory, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and go for it, especially being a 4th and 1. This is going to be the biggest play of the game for the Blount Leopards here late in the third quarter of action.
And remember, you have a 1,000-yard running back there as well.
And you just have to find that push at the line of scrimmage, and you don't want to have to burn a timeout here to get everybody lined up to get that push at the line of scrimmage.
Under 10 seconds on the play clock. 4th and short for Blount. They do give it to Williams, and look at the burst of speed he puts on it, and he's going to have enough as he falls past the 35-yard line.
And he just went straight up with Matthew Stallworth, that is, and you see the hard downhill running, something we haven't had an opportunity to see a lot of tonight, as he was able to gain forward momentum, and there is going to be an injury timeout on the field.
And the chains are moving, so we have a break right here with the injured player. We're able to get our Game of the Week Brain Buster question up. We'll put it up and take a look at it. All right, Corey, Blount and Murphy have met 29 times. In what 2 classifications have they only played each other? 7A and 6A, 6A and 5A, 6A and 4A, or 5A and 4A? That's our last Game of the Week Brain Buster of the year. We'll reveal the answer sometime in the fourth quarter or shortly soon. Big fella gets up. Rydarian Locke, left tackle, walking off the field. So the trainer's smiling, so he must be doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's something that the injury bug has really bitten the Blount Leopards.
It has.
Over the last few weeks, and when we start looking for a depth chart, it looks nothing like week 0 does, that's for certain.
That is for sure, Corey. About it has been reworked and retooled since we have seen the Leopards at the top of the year. They have gone through 3 quarterbacks at this point. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Hand off to Deshaun Williams, as you pointed out, north and south, up the middle he goes. Nice run by Williams.
And that's probably his biggest gain of this particular matchup between these 2 schools tonight. Probably a 6-yard gain for Deshaun Williams, and it's going to bring up 2nd down and 4 yards to go.
We're under 1 minute. Ironically, Corey, 1 score in the second quarter, and so far only 1 score here in the third quarter of play. And we are tied up 22-22. Up the middle goes Williams once again. Looks like a Blount player lost a helmet. And a Leopard is still down as well.
And if that's from the offensive line position, that's something they can ill afford.
Writhing in pain right there. Don't know if that's 57 or 58.
58.
But we'll take an injury break and come back. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ayla, hi.
Oh, hi, Sierra. How are you?
Good. How are things?
Things couldn't be better.
What do you mean?
Well, I just started this new job as a school teacher with the Mobile County Public Schools, and it has been a life changer. Great benefits, the hours are great, and great students. Just overall, it's a great opportunity.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. I'm going to look into that.
You should.
For more information, visit mcpss.com/job opportunities.
There's a lot to like about Mobile County Public Schools.
What I enjoy about Mobile County School is the extra attention my teachers give us to help us learn.
Teachers are liking their access to technology, and students are liking the quality of their education.
I like the technology that's been incorporated into my education.
And since 1826, you have trusted us to prepare your child for their future, and we like that. Mobile County Public Schools. We are learning today, leading tomorrow.
Parents, if you have a child who will be 4 years of age on or before September 1st, 2023, then mark your calendar to register for the Mobile County Public Schools First Class Pre-K program. Online registration for the 2023-24 school year opens January 15th, so don't miss this opportunity. Log on to MCPSS.com for more information and a complete listing of pre-K sites, screening, and selection info. First Class Pre-K registration, January 15th. Save the date.
We welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Al Wheaton and Corey LeBounty on the scene as they help the young man off the field, Tyler Petway, the injured player. Hopefully he will be okay, Corey.
And who is okay is number 1 in purple, and we mentioned him as an impact player in the contest. As you just continue to feed him, man, let him pound and pound and pound, and hopefully pound for positive yardage.
Right.
As that time he's able to gain 4 yards, Al, and bring it 2nd down and 6 yards to go as we're getting ready to enter the 4th quarter of action.
We are. I had to enter the insect protection zone, Corey, as I was being invaded by the ants over here for some reason. I don't know if they like my white paper or what. It's not like I have food on the table. You know, they're just all on my notes, man. All right, it's the end of the 3rd quarter. Let's take a look at the Game of the Week Brainbuster question. Blount and Murphy have met 29 times. In what 2 classifications have they only played each other?
Well, I'm going to say it's not A because 7A just started less than 10 years ago.
Okay.
And if they've met 29 times and this is the first time in a decade, I like to go with B, 6A, and 5A because Murphy's always been the largest classification school.
Okay.
And Blount has won multiple 5A state championships. So
all right.
I just want to go with my gut and go with B.
Corey's going to go with B, and we'll get Miss Diane to reveal the answer. And Corey, it is actually C. You have to go back to years ago before 6A, Corey. There were only 4 classifications in the state of Alabama, and they have only played each other 4 in 6A. But that was a good guess, though.
And you start
Murphy's
talking
never
about
been a 5A team. That's the thing.
A 5A Murphy being – I knew Blount was a 5A team, and I think that's where I tricked myself.
Because you said it. Murphy has always played in the largest classification. So they went from 4A to 6A to 7A. They were never a 5A team, Corey. You talked yourself out of it.
And here's the thing that really bothers me the most about me giving the incorrect answer. I didn't go with the letters.
You didn't go with C, Corey. I thought you were going to go with C. 2nd down for the Leopards as Deshaun Williams plows ahead. Here's a look at the stats through the 3rd quarter. Murphy picking up some more rushing yards, 27. 105 in passing yards, but Corey, look at the penalties. They have caught up and surpassed Blount. 6 penalties for 55 yards for the Panthers.
And that's the biggest thing for Blount that they must control here in the fourth quarter of action. Staying ahead of the sticks offensively, not having a lot of penalties, and here on this offensive drive, capitalizing, getting into the red zone area.
Williams goes up the middle. 4th down coming up here for Blount. Inside of the red zone. As we are just underway here in the fourth quarter. As I said last quarter, 1 score in the third quarter, 1 score in the third. The rest of the offense occurred when we started in the first quarter. 4th down, Blount going for it. They fake it to Williams, tosses it to the big receiver. That should be enough for the first down.
Vale, the 6'1", 199-pound freshman tight end. That's a great job of rolling the pocket, a nice tight spiral, and you're able to go ahead and pick up a first down and goal to go from right at the 9-yard line.
Yep, right at the 9. Not too far from us here in the south end zone. Leopards have been close to the goal line before and have not punched it in. Dunnigan decided to keep that one. It went nowhere. 2nd and goal coming up for the Leopards.
Well, we saw earlier, maybe in the second quarter, to where it was 1st or 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line, and Blount was turned away. Well, here deep in their own territory, we'll see if this purple and white are able to capitalize here for the 2nd time deep in the red zone, and this time put 6 on the board.
Dunnigan throws it away. Don't know if that may be grounding. Mike Beckton looking, and there's a flag.
Oh, wow. Al,
that's going to hurt, not in addition to the yard, but it's loss of down, Corey.
And again, you look at the 15-yard penalty that was assessed when the Leopards were at the 1-yard line, and
that's
now
correct.
You're backed up again, and that's just so unfortunate if you're the Blount Leopards, because you're in red zone territory.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to get 6 on the board, and if you can't get 6 on the board here and are turned away, it's just a tremendous momentum swing for the Murphy Panthers.
That's going to push them back to the 25-yard line. So that's loss of down as well. So now it's 3rd down and goal from the 25. I'm going to say look for that jump ball pass that Dunnigan has connected on earlier in the ball game. Looking to his left. Trying to go to Myron Miller. And that pass incomplete. Brian Jackson says, no way, Jose. Ball over on downs. I'm sorry, 4th down now.
Well, you're in 4th and goal to go. We know you're not going to attempt a field goal at all in this situation.
Correct.
I like the play call in regards to putting the ball in the end zone and it being a jump ball situation. So now you have to find that one-on-one matchup. If they're not going to drop back into zone coverage and they decide to stay in man-to-man, Myron Dunklin may not be the tallest wide receiver, but he's shown he can go up and get a jump ball for your quarterback.
And they're looking to go Dunklin's way. Coming right to us, Corey. And the tip drill went from Corey Kelly almost to another defensive back, Brandon Bendoff. Bendoff recovered a fumble earlier. That would have been an interception, 4th down. So now ball over on downs to Murphy.
And that's exactly who I would have gone to as well. I would have attempted the same exact pass to Dunklin, but again, we mentioned 10 on 10, and that time 10 in white. Corey Kelly was able to go ahead and get the momentum swinger for the Panthers offense. And TK Barnett, we've seen him electrify the Panther fans on a return And we'll see him return back to quarterback now as well, which normally signals if he doesn't roll out of the pocket, a running situation for the Panthers.
Quick handoff as Murphy gets a big run right there from Kentrell Wheeler. He's going to move the chains. Look at the run from Wheeler right here.
Well, Wheeler, when he makes that step, decides not to bounce it to the outside and presses the hole back to the inside, you see his explosiveness and now tempo by the Murphy Panthers.
Good shot of the left hand right there of T.K. Barnett. Completes it to Jalen Etney. Etney's on the move, first down as he gets past the 50-yard line, and a flag on the play near the Murphy sideline.
Let's see, I want to say it may be for unsportsmanlike if the referee says that he spiked the ball afterwards. Not quite sure what they're going to call, but holding the Panthers.
And it could have been as Etney was running up through that screen, Corey, someone probably got too much jersey.
Watch at the end of this play. Etney,
there's a hole on the far side right there.
Gets the first down, and then when he comes up, throws the ball down. I wasn't sure if that's what the flag was thrown for, but nonetheless, they do get a first down out of it and have gotten out of the shadows of their own end zone.
Well, being the spot foul, it's going to be first and about 6 yards to go here coming up for the Panthers. T.K. Barnett trying to bring a sense of juice, a sense of urgency to the Panthers. Now that should definitely, I would think, be a late hit. And that, the flag comes in right there, Corey. You could see Barnett outside on the sideline.
And big Malachi Howard was urging the officials to go ahead and throw that one, wanted to come over and protect his quarterback, knew he couldn't retaliate or it would be offsetting, but that's an easy call for the officials to make. It's going to be a free 15 yards for the Murphy Panthers.
Tax on 15 on top of it. You can see that one coming up right here on the replay. Nice block by Ben Jackson up there. But definitely a late hit.
And now, Al, when they took over this situation for Blount that was first and goal to go and wound up being fourth and goal to go, now you have a timeout for the Leopards to regroup themselves.
So think about it, Corey. It was second and goal from the 8-yard line. An intentional grounding. That's a loss of down, pushed him back to the 25. Could not capitalize, and now Murphy has driven down into Blount territory, possibly looking to get some points on the board here.
Great look there at the tuba section, coming down, looking at the field, and they're just absolutely loving senior night here at Harris Terry Stadium. But Blount's defense now has to answer the call. They have kind of been bending but have not broke. And Murphy really hasn't been able to break through with an offensive threat since really the second quarter, early in the second quarter. Definitely in the first quarter, Murphy was able to go ahead and get a lot of positive yardage for a total output. But right here, Blount defense has to come away with the stop. 1st and 10, Murphy Panthers.
Ball looks like it's about the 38-yard line of Blount. Barnett still in quarterback position here for the Leopards. Trip receivers at the bottom of the screen. Barnett gets the ball positioned in his hand, decides to keep it, tucks it, takes off. Gets just inside of the red zone. Looks like he went out of bounds about the 17 or 18, Corey.
Smartly runs out of bounds to save himself. And because he has that cast on his left hand and it's an awkward snap, he almost scooped the ball up on the quarterback center exchange. And instead of catching it, he scooped it. I don't know if we're able to see that play because the snap wasn't clean, but again, a great play by TK Barnett, extending the play and getting a fresh set of downs, and the Murphy Panthers are on the march.
Inside of the red zone, ball sitting at about the 17, maybe 18-yard line, 1st and 10. Same formation here for the Panthers. They started off the ball game with a flea flicker. John McKenzie calls timeout. You can see him walking up the sideline because the play clock was about to run out, Corey.
Knows that in that red zone area, every bit of yardage is critical. You have to have great yardage and field position. Can't afford to be 1st and 15 from outside of the 20-yard line if you're John McKenzie on the offensive march for the Murphy Panthers.
Our statistician Matt Moore was telling me Blount used 17 plays on that drive previously, no points to account for it, Corey.
Well, on the other one, they had 11 plays, so that's 28 plays that have resulted in zero points on the board.
All right, we have a break right here on this timeout. We're able to get up that 7A playoff scenario, kind of refresh you guys and let you know as to what's going on. We know right now Baker and Foley really don't know who they might be playing because tonight Enterprise and Prattville are playing. Dothan won last night, so in essence they need Prattville to lose, and they're going to get in at the number 4 seed. If Enterprise win, they'll be the number 3 seed. If all 3 of them win, Prattville's going to be the third seed, and Enterprise is going to be 4 because Enterprise beat Dothan already this season. 1st and 10, little quick pass to Jalen Edney. He cannot haul it in. Drops right there at his feet.
That's one of the first times that you've seen on this drive the Murphy Panthers sputter on offense.
Does stop the clock at 8:02. We're still notched up at 22. The last score came from Zakeesh James, nose guard for the Panthers, who had a scoop and score off of a fumble from Isaiah Dunnigan deep in Blount territory. And we'll call him Mr. Ironman. TK Barnett puts on the cast and the uniform and comes out to play tonight, Corey. We've seen him on special teams, defense, and now on offense. Direct snap to him. He's going to keep it. Forced out of bounds by the Leopards. Looks to be no gain on the play. 2nd down. Sorry, 3rd down coming up here for Murphy.
Well, Blount has to come away with the defensive stop. We're tied at 22 apiece, and Murphy on this drive has taken it from deep in their own territory to getting it into the red zone area of the Leopards.
Barnett back to throw. Pass incomplete. It'll take Murphy to 4th down. And I'm sure Murphy's going to go for it. Enoch Irakosi is 0 for 1 on field goals this season, Corey.
Well, here, if you're the Panthers, where you've gone to tonight is to number 15, Benjamin Jackson, as well as Jalen Edney. And Jackson is 6'1" and has shown he can go get the football. Number 15, I do believe at the top of your screen, and TK Barnett can also run for 10, so you have to put a spy on him defensively.
The line to gain is going to be the 7. Barnett throws it. Going for Edney. That pass appears to be intercepted.
I think it's going to be an interception. Credit the defender for that interception.
Cartel Washington came down with it. We're going to get a shot right here from our camera crew in the end zone, coming right at you.
Tried to go to Jalen Edney.
Yep.
And that's one of the 2 wide receivers that I felt that the Panthers would probably try to throw to, but credit this Blount defense for buckling down in the red zone and coming away with the defensive stop.
That's
now,
huge.
Let's see. You get the crowd into it, you get the band into it, you get the offensive into it, and we'll see if momentum takes over here for the Blount Leopards and see if they're able to get back into the red zone area now.
Correct. It was 4th down. It would have been ball over on downs, but Washington brings it in the end zone, so they're going to bring it out to the 20 on the touchback right there. So 1st and 10 for the Leopards. Ball game tied as we approach the halfway point of the 4th quarter. Deshaun Williams forced out of bounds. That's going to be a late hit, Corey.
And that's one of those unnecessary penalties by the Murphy Panthers, and I think that's going to be called against Jamal Cleveland.
Something we just saw Blount do to help Murphy out, and they return to favor as Williams is hit out of bounds.
Get that free 15 yards, as you just have to pull up, and he pulled up after he had already hit him 3 yards out of bounds, and that's going to be a plus for Josh Harris and this Blount Leopard faithful. And again, that's the type of play that you need for your crowd to get behind you, and all it takes is one play to change the whole dynamics of this game. And you have plenty of time with 6:51. Murphy only has 1 timeout remaining. Blount has 2, and that's something to keep an eye on as well.
Ball on the 30-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Leopards. Hand off to Deshaun Williams. Goes to the left, brings it back to the right, up the middle he goes. Nice run for him, about 8 yards, as the running back pushes Blount closer to the midfield stripe. But Williams hurt, taking his time, Corey, to get up.
Don't know if it's a hand injury or a shoulder injury, but he definitely took a pop and quickly removed that glove that was on his hand. And
he goes back down to take a knee right there. So they're going to take a look at Deshaun Williams. Said early in the contest, he has run for 1,000 yards back-to-back seasons as a sophomore and a junior. We'll take an injury timeout and come back and bring you some more action.
Hello, I'm Katrina Frazier.
And I'm Deborah Robinson, and we would like to be your next realtors. As homeowners, we know how confusing it can be searching to find that perfect home that fits your needs and budget.
For that reason, it's important to have a reliable partner to represent you and to be there for every step of your home buying process. You'll find the services offered through Berkshire Hathaway, Home Services Cooper & Company Realtors are second to none.
So whether you are buying or selling your home, call us today and let our experience work for you.
Thank our folks over there at Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. A portion of subs purchased at Firehouse will go to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. So visit our friends Jim and Susie Sherman at the Greelite Road Firehouse Subs location. Also thanks to BSN Sports, where you can get team apparel and equipment from baseball to wrestling and all sports in between. BSN Sports, the heart of the game, online at bsnsports.com. 2nd and short, as Deshaun Williams has gone out of the ball game. Hopefully he's okay. He'll be able to return. 1st down by the Leopards as they pick it up.
Let's go over.
Dion Morris with the carry. And the chains will move for Blount.
Sometimes when you strike up the band, that's what it takes to get your offensive momentum. And we'll see if Deshaun Williams decides to or is able to come back to this contest, as you see number 1 in purple back on your television screen. And we'll see if they continue to feed number 1, who was trying to get into some type of running rhythm for this Leopards offense.
Under the halfway point here in the 4th quarter. Little quick out to Morris. He picks up a couple. 2nd down coming up here for the Leopards. Morris took his time, hauled it in. About a 3-yard gain, so 2nd and about 7 here for Blount. As the clock continues to tick, approaching 4 minutes here remaining in the ball game. We're tied up at 22 apiece.
2nd and 8, the young freshman quarterback leading the Leopards.
He's going to keep it, tries to turn the corner. He is not down, reverses field, Corey, going backwards. That's going to be a significant loss for the Blount Leopards.
Well, he shows his strength and his ability, escapability that is, as he rolls to his right, and it looks like he's almost down as he takes the hit and bounces off, but instead he runs backwards, which is a no-no, And again, Jabarish Chambers, along with his teammate Andre Woodard, is able to come and finish him off, creating now 2nd down, and looks like maybe 8 yards to go as the officials are looking. I don't know if there's a flag on the play, because there's definitely a stoppage in play. It looks like maybe a face mask.
Possibly so, because now they're
yes.
Personal foul, face mask, so the Panthers bail out Blount once again.
And that's why the down marker moved to what it was from the spot. 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Not an automatic first down, because where the tackle took place, you give him 15 yards off of that, and because of it now 2nd and 8 instead of looking at close to 2nd and 20.
Ball about the 45-yard line. Little quick pass to Marlon Miller, as Miller is close to the first down marker. Going to be 3rd down and short here coming up for Blount.
And it is pretty much 1.5 yards away from getting that first down, but Blount has to get some type of push up front from the offensive line.
Low snap, fumbled by Dunnigan. Not the time to have an unclean exchange. That's going to push the Leopards back once again, kind of shooting themselves in the foot, Corey.
2nd week in a row, we've had a game come down to the wire. And here it is, both of these teams mirror images of one another. Murphy coming in at 2-6, Blount coming in at 2-7.
Right.
And someone wants to get that win to go into spring training here that will be in late May. And when practice starts in early March and late April, you want to make sure that you have some momentum with your team.
Darius Williams gets the punt off. Brandon Bendoff from Murphy on the run near the 50-yard line. It's a fumble. The ball is out. Blount is saying they have it.
They do.
I don't know if he was down first or not.
The officials are having to make it.
But they're saying they have the ball. There's the punt from Williams. And the crowd is cheering. It appears to be Blount's ball. Let's watch Bendahl. And that's a live ball, Corey. It's out. It's a fumble.
We'll see what Blount's
costly turnover right there.
It definitely was out before his knees touched the ground, and great job of Blount jumping on top of it and creating that turnover, as a great replay crew was able to show that that is clearly a fumble. And it will now be 1st and 10 Blount with 2:21 remaining, and we're tied at 22 apiece. And one thing here on this drive, Blount cannot have any penalties.
Cannot.
At all, Al, because what you need to see here is Myron Dunklin get involved in this offense.
Haven't called his name in a long time, Corey, as far as them hauling in a completion or some type of offensive play. That is Murphy's 3rd turnover of the ball game.
And here it is, Myron Dunklin looks like he is in at quarterback.
Blount kind of going with a wildcat here. Don't know if they're going to do it, making him quarterback. Flea flicker of their own. There's a man deep, wide open. Tyler Tucker hauls it in. I'm sorry, that's Jerry Brand, number 6. So Blount returns the favor from early in the ball game. The first play that Murphy ran was a flea flicker, and they do it right here.
Dunklin though has
Sean
to get
Williams to
involved,
Dunklin.
and he does. And you get your playmakers to football. How do you do it? He shows that he has an arm. He showed that he can catch the football. Dunklin just a very well-rounded athlete getting it done.
Brand high points the ball and brings it in. 1st and 10 for the Leopards inside of the red zone, a place they have been familiar with a lot tonight, Corey.
They have to capitalize here with no penalties.
Some confusion on the play. One Leopard runs off, 5 seconds on the play clock. They bring Dunnigan back in. They give it to Williams. Up the middle he goes. Murphy trying to strip it. And look at Deshaun Williams, carries him into the end zone. That's a touchdown for Deshaun Williams.
For the first time that you've seen Deshaun Williams go ahead and show his strength and absolutely go untouched, because we've seen him pop off a 6-yard run, but when he gets past the line of scrimmage, there's that hole that he needed, and yards after contact,
right,
he just drags 3 Murphy defenders into the red zone area and is able to score the touchdown that allows Blount to go ahead with 1:40 remaining now. The red zone drought ended finally for the Blount Leopards.
Finally. That's Williams' second touchdown of the night. And the Leopards are going for 2 as Myron Dunklin comes onto the field late. They give it back to Deshaun Williams, and he almost was able to stretch out, but tied up. 28-22 is the score. Blount back on top.
This is a program for any middle school student who's actually behind. This opportunity offers kids a chance to do 2 grades in 1 year.
If it wasn't for Star Academy, I would still be in 8th grade and probably still struggling.
We are one-on-one. We have small classrooms, and we're able to give students that personal touch, that personal attention.
I know I'm coming to see good teachers, good attitude, and also they're here to teach us what we need to learn.
Hits pay dirt with a 13-yard run from Deshaun Williams, capped off a 50-play drive. Only took 2 plays, Corey, the flea flicker, and then Williams runs it in for 13 yards.
Well, they're able to capitalize and score in the red zone. They've been to the 1-yard line twice tonight with no points, and that is huge for Josh Harris. TK Barnett now has it as he reverses field, Al, and is trying to make something out of nothing.
And that's what he is good for. He can definitely do it, Corey. We've seen him do it many times.
Well, that's the type of return that Murphy needed, so they didn't have to drive the length of the field, and they're going to get great field position as you kick it and kick it right to the most dangerous player in white. Barnett picks it up right around the 17-yard line, starts and stops direction, hits the circle button, cuts back, and gets to the 25, 30, 35, close to the 40-yard line. I think they're going to mark it right at the 37 for the starting position for Coach John McKenzie, as he always gives a shout out to his family members who are watching down in Miami, Florida.
Absolutely.
And the rest of his family that always tunes in here to MCPSS television. Made sure that I said hello to all his family. Didn't want to make sure I left anybody out, so I say all is Coach McKenzie's family.
90 seconds here for the Panthers, down 6 points, 28-22. That was a huge score that Blount just put into the end zone, but set up by that fumble on the punt return that gave Blount a second chance at life. But Barnett in the ball game, as Coach McKenzie is going to put his best players in the situation to try to bring it home for him. Little quick out as Murphy gets it to the receiver. Tyler Hodge, clock still running. He did not get out of bounds.
2-minute offense. Again, every team works on it. 2nd down and 7 yards to go. As the Panthers are lining up, look for Edney here or Barnett on the run if the pocket collapses.
And they sack TK Barnett.
There's your timeout that's going to have to be called by the Murphy Panthers.
Yeah, you have to at that point.
Kevin Norwood with the pressure. Nice swim move and rips through the offensive lineman, gets the pressure, and just like that, one of your impact players in the game, Al, makes a huge, impactful play.
Correct.
Showing why he was spotlighted at the beginning of the contest.
55.6 seconds remaining here in the contest. Also got us a special shout out to our stats folks, Corey, China Powell, and Matthew Moore for doing an outstanding job for us all season long, giving those little nuggets to us, feeding them to us all the time, even on the cell phone. They have to text them to us when we're not side by side. And also thanks to Miss Sally Erickson for handling our score ticker all season. She's new to the crew as well, so I appreciate her stepping in as well as we're getting ready to wrap things up. And lastly, Corey, our third buddy's not here. Kimberly Dunn on the sideline. She's not with us tonight. And old Mike Herndon, we didn't get a check-in with him this week, but he's been holding it down for the MCPSS athletic studio all season.
Love working with Kim and Mike both, as Kim's done a phenomenal job catching these coaches and players going into the locker room and after the game as well. And we miss Kim tonight, but just a very special addition to the MCPSS TV.
Second and long here for the Panthers. Low snap to Barnett as he whips it across the field to Ben Jackson. Back to the original line of scrimmage. The clock is running. Third down. No, I'm sorry, you're right, Corey. Fourth down. So this is the ball game here for the Panthers.
It really is. You have to have a first down here and no timeouts remaining for Murphy. And we'll see what is called. Murphy does use their last timeout here.
I thought the Panthers were out.
I did too.
But apparently not. So
last timeout called by Murphy. And you have to call it here because, again, it's fourth down and 10 yards to go.
You have to.
And if you're Blount, you have this senior night crowd that was filled to capacity on the home side here of Harris Terry Stadium. You want them to go home happy. And you want Josh Harris to come away with his third win of the year if you're a Blount Leopard fan.
Both coaches seeking a third win as they both come in with 2 wins tonight. Ironically, they beat the same teams, Robertsdale and Baldwin County, Corey.
And one of those teams will not be winless.
They play each other tonight.
Because they play each other tonight.
They sure do. They sure do. How ironic is that? They both defeated Robertsdale and Baldwin County, and those 2 teams are playing tonight. So it is fourth down for the Leopards coming up here.
And this is literally the biggest play of the game, Al.
Barnett still in the ball game with the cast on. Low snap once again, and he's just going to throw it downfield and try to connect with the receiver. Does not, ball over on downs, and all Blount has to do is pretty much take the victory formation right here.
The Leopards found a way to get it done, especially after getting hit in the mouth early off of the first offensive possession with the flea flicker and really finding a way to score in the red zone, which is huge.
That's correct.
For the Panthers in regards to them not being able to stop the Leopards from scoring when it mattered the most.
As you always talk about, Corey, finding a way to get it done. And our Career Tech Education Player of the Game, Deshaun Watson, definitely gets it done with that 13-yard touchdown. I'm sorry, Deshaun Williams with that 13-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter. And he had Blount's first score with a 21-yard touchdown in the first quarter. So Mr. Williams scoring on the front end and on the back end, Corey.
And you mentioned, would Matty T fire it up in the pregame in your monologue right there? And they absolutely are firing it up right now in regards to getting their crowd excited and leaving here on senior night with the win and getting the momentum going into the offseason.
And that's the key right there. As you get ready to build, we know that the Blount Leopards are a young team, as are the Murphy Panthers as well. So we expect to see really big things out of both of these teams from next year. 28-22 is the score as Blount gets the win. They come back. We thought Murphy was going to do it as Zykees James got the scoop and score for the big fellow, but Blount found a way to make it happen.
And here's the thing. They kicked no extra points tonight and still found a way. They went ahead and were bogged down twice in the red zone and still found a way to win. They won with a freshman quarterback, despite all the injuries that were sustained, despite all the penalties. Josh Harris, he doesn't quit. And his team is a reflection of his leadership and his ability to go ahead and right that ship and get this team going in the right direction in the offseason.
Let's take a look at the final statistics for the ball game as it tells the story. 3 turnovers for Murphy and 2 for Blount. That last turnover was the costliest one, Corey.
Without question. You know the scoop and score that was had by the Panthers, but again, that last turnover, again, being the difference maker. 9 penalties for 81 yards really hurt them, and we have a situation where 28-22 is the final score. 28-22 is the final score of the game.
That is going to wrap it up for us here at Harris Terry Stadium. For our statisticians, Matt Moore, China Powell, inside the truck engineer Fran Conaway, executive producer Quentin Howard, and director Wade Ford. I'm Al Whedon, thanking you for joining us for another broadcast of the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. We're going to let the names fly through the air and roll the credits for another great year.